Alright, hey, we're back. It's the Movie Monks. It's been 2.5 weeks or something.
Yeah, something like that.
It's been a while. I blame you for not having internet. It's your fault.
That's completely understandable. I blame me for not even having TV most of the time too.
So what were you doing? How do you watch
Moving.
movies?
I
Oh,
was
so just
packing. I
couldn't.
had a few movies set out on my coffee table,
Okay.
and Killzone 3. When it came out, I bought that and played that, so that took a day because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really short.
Oh, I didn't even beat it. I should probably play that some more.
Yeah,
It's somewhat movie related because Malcolm McDowell's in it, and that dude's awesome.
he
So.
is pretty awesome. I met him. He's a good guy.
Oh yeah, he was at the Comic-Con last year or whatever.
Yep,
Yeah, I saw him from afar, but I didn't go up and say anything.
him and Sid.
Sid.
Sid Haig or whatever.
Oh right, yeah, no, Sid Haig was here, and Brent
Yeah.
Spiner and all those guys. Who are we getting this year? There was somebody like Shatner's coming or something. Shatner
Yeah,
coming?
I can't remember.
I think Shatner's on his way. I don't know. But anyway, so 2.5 weeks means 2.5 weeks full of film and TV stuff. We're gonna talk about TV today, so we should probably jump right in it. What was the? Are we gonna go chronological, or do you not remember?
Mine are in chronological.
All right. What was the first thing you watched?
The first thing I watched, actually, the first thing I watched in the new place here was Men in Black. Just kind of the top of the box type thing.
All right.
Yeah,
Fantastic film.
it is really good. I like that movie quite a bit. I used to watch it actually growing up when I felt sick and stayed home from school. I would just lay there and kind of watch that a few times.
Cool.
It's a
I've
good
seen
movie.
it many times. I can quote some stuff. Some things that don't hold up is like that miniature CD thing that's going to replace CDs soon.
Yeah,
That I found kind
and
of
how
funny
he would
now.
have to buy the White Album again.
Yep. But of course MP3s, so dated.
Yep.
The Henson people did a good job with those little aliens. Industrial Light and Magic. Oh, probably Vincent D'Onofrio's finest performance in his career. No, like, whatever. Full Metal Jacket, throw that garbage out, because Men in Black, yo.
I might agree with you.
Okay.
I can't
I got
remember some of the
defensive
other
before
stuff.
you even said anything, but I don't know.
Yeah, it seems to be the way it goes here anyways.
Just him asking, like, for sugar water or whatever. Amazing. Timeless classic. So good.
Yeah, it's true.
Ghostbusters of the 90s. I'm just going to say that. But, oh, and that opening theme song, Danny Elfman stuff with the Dragonfly.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
That's really good, too. Do you have a Blu-ray, or is it just
I
a
do.
DVD?
I have both of them.
Okay. I think Tommy Lee Jones did a commentary, if I don't...
I haven't even watched the commentary. I just always get wrapped up in watching the movie.
Yeah, I know. It's a good film.
Yeah.
How
it
do you
is
feel
really
about
good.
the sequel, though?
You know what? It's not bad, but I mean,
Alright.
like the first one, like you can't really beat that.
Mm-hmm. Like, I haven't seen Men in Black 2 in a long time. I just remember not really liking it, but maybe it's like a Ghostbusters 2 thing.
I think maybe it's because,
okay.
like, Tommy Lee Jones is probably my favorite part of Men in Black. Like, the way him and Will Smith, like, bounce back and forth off of each other.
Yeah.
And, like, the fact that he doesn't have a memory in 2 kind of ruins it.
Yeah.
It's kind of
weird,
like...
because the sequel kind of undoes some of the cool stuff in the first one, like him getting erased at the end and rejoining with his long-lost wife and stuff or whatever, or girlfriend.
Yeah, well, he comes out of his coma, or whatever.
Yeah.
His quote-unquote coma.
Yeah. Man was in coma for 35 years or whatever, but them undoing that to gin up a sequel was kind of depressing. I don't know.
Yeah, because they brought him back in.
Yeah. Oh well. There's a new one apparently in the works, and I will watch that. So, yeah.
Who's doing that one?
It's on Will Smith's IMDb page, so 2012 maybe. That could happen.
But, like, who is doing it? Like, director?
No
do we
idea.
know anything about it?
I don't know. Who did the first one? Was it Sonnenfeld or something?
Yeah, it was Sonnenfeld.
Alright. Hold on. I will...
Okay, I just pulled up the page. Young Agent K by Josh Brolin.
Okay. I like Josh Brolin.
So there's going to be some
back
story, I guess, which would be kind of cool because it seems like Agent K has been through some shit.
Oh, apparently Sonnenfeld's listed right now. And David Coet might be writing it, which is kind of cool.
Alec Baldwin's in it.
Oh, is he an agent or something?
I have no idea. He's not
Oh, he's
credited
not.
with
There's
anything.
nothing. Yeah, Rip Torn's back. I don't know. This is all based on the IMDb page. Who
Hey,
knows how
Jermaine
accurate?
Clement.
I like that dude. Oh yeah, that actually was confirmed. There was a news story about that. That guy's pretty funny.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
All right. So Men in Black's great.
What about you? What was your...
Well, it was a TV show. I watched all of the first season of Modern Family in a pretty short amount of time because that show's
Okay,
really, really
that's a
funny.
really good show.
Yeah, and I just
It's
missed
really
that
funny.
train or something. I don't know. I was missing out apparently because that show's really funny.
Yeah,
Phil
it is.
is great, and I used to hate that guy because he was like this jerk character in Dawn of the Dead, the Zack Snyder film, Ty Burrell or whatever.
I'm
But
trying to remember.
it
Like,
doesn't really matter. I can't. I haven't seen that movie in a while, but I just remember he was kind of
yes,
a
I remember.
dirtbag
He
guy.
was the snobby rich guy
Yeah,
with the yacht
I
and
think
everything.
he owned the boat that they were then trying to get to.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just kind of a dirtbag, and for some reason I let that color my opinion of the man, which is not fair because that guy's really funny.
Yeah, he is really funny. Actually, everyone in that is really pretty funny.
No, yeah, it's a pretty good cast. Yeah, yeah. So I watched all of that. Nothing really to say about it, so I'm just gonna jump into a mediocre movie I saw that was fairly
Okay.
recent. Uh, Unknown.
Okay, I actually can't. I was gonna go see that yesterday, kind of, but I didn't really
Don't,
care.
cause it's bad. It's not a good movie.
But see, you would think it would be okay because, like, look who's in it, right?
I know, like that was the thing. Like the marketing team, good job. You totally tricked me into thinking it was a sequel to Taken, basically,
Yeah,
and you know it
or at
wasn't.
least a spiritual successor to it.
Something like that, like similar, like hey, Liam Neeson's gonna murder people. And you're just like, all right, yeah. But the
But
first
he
like half
doesn't.
hour of that movie is like just insanely bad. Like just some of the worst setup to the mystery ever, and just basically he says the words, "No, I'm Dr. Martin Harris," like 30 times in this one scene that just drags on forever. And I was
Okay,
just sitting there like, okay, I get it. Let's move on. This is just bad now, and it just stays on this scene for like 5 more minutes.
it's about, like, he wakes up and, like, realizes that someone took his identity, right?
No, well, okay. The first bit of the movie is like him and January Jones, who is a terrible actress, by the way. I didn't really think about it while watching Mad Men because I just kind of hate that character, Betty.
Yeah.
But she's legitimately just not a good actress. So that comes to the surface in this movie, which now has me worried about X-Men First Class,
Hmm.
Hungry Rabbit Jump, all that. But yeah, him and his wife arrive in Germany for this conference. Uh, a suitcase gets left at the airport. He gets back in the cab to go back to get it. Diane Kruger from the National Treasure films and Inglourious Bastards is driving the cab. Their cab gets kind of hit by something or whatever and goes off a bridge into this river. Diane Kruger goes like out of her way to save him, like amazingly heroic individual, like grabbing a club and like smashing open the window and stuff, pulls him out. He has the most bizarre case of amnesia ever, and can't remember stuff, but vaguely remembers who his name and things and whatever. And I can't really say much more than that because it will spoil what terrible plot there is. But yeah, it's mystery thriller kind of thing.
So, is there anything saving it, really?
Okay, there's one dude, Bruno Gantz, I think his name is, who played Hitler in Downfall like
Yes.
6 years
Yep.
ago. That dude, like when his character shows up, he brings like so much class and like personality to his character as like this aging like agent dude. He was great. Like he has the best like two scenes of the movie, and it's because of him. Like Liam Neeson's fine, I guess. Like he's just stumbling around. I blame most of like the reason he kind of sucks on the script. January Jones is terrible. Dan Kruger's fine. But everything else is just kind of whatever. But Bruno Gantz kind of rises above it all, and he was cool. That guy's all right.
So, who directed this movie, anyway? I don't know much about it at all.
I can't remember if it was anyone of note really. Like in terms of the direction, I'd say kind of bad, just because of that first half hour is just like really offensively stupid. I put
So, does it get better after that first half hour,
well,
though?
like once Bruno Gantz shows up, that's cool for a little bit, but it has like a twist ending and stuff and whatever, and that didn't do much for me either.
Right, and it's all
So
stuff you can't really get into, I guess.
yeah, I can't say much about it. The director of House of Wax and Orphan from like 2 years ago. Uh,
Gross.
what I can't even.
House of
He's from
Wax was pretty
Barcelona.
terrible.
His
You're
first
talking
name,
about the remake, right?
yeah, the 2005 one where Paris Hilton dies.
Yeah, that was the best part, but
That's
not
it.
for
Yeah. Uh,
for other reasons.
man, I'm gonna try to pronounce this Spanish name like Jaume Collet Serra. His first name's Jaume, so I don't know, and there's no accents on it. So Jaume,
Huh.
something. Don't worry about it. He's not a very good filmmaker, so you don't really need to know.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's not very good. Fortunately, it's kind of fading, so whatever. We
Well,
won't
right on.
have to think about it. What did you see after that? After Men in Black?
The next one, I actually watched this movie 3 times the same night because I loved it.
Okay.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Did you watch it with commentaries or something?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Totally justifiable then.
Well,
Cause.
I watched it once the first time without anything,
Well,
just
yeah.
because I hadn't seen it in a while. Then I watched it again with the commentary,
I should
and
do that
yeah,
soon, actually.
that's a really good movie. There's a lot of content on that Blu-ray.
Yeah, I watched the featurettes. I haven't jumped into the commentaries yet, but
Yeah, I can't remember what featurette I was watching, but one of them was kind of boring, so I didn't finish that. But everything else is pretty gold on there. Anyways, yeah, anyone that knows that it's like the best movie of last year, so we don't have to get into that.
more people should see it though. Like
I saw it on sale on DVD for $9.99 at Blockbuster.
yeah, and
That
like
movie
just
deserves to be paid 15 or $20.
yeah, I bought it day one Blu-ray and saw it in theaters several times. But just like
Yeah.
recommending movies, like I work at Blockbuster now, so like it's just like, hey, what's good? Scott Pilgrim. It's like, what's that about? It's like it's like comics and stuff and like
So
manga and
have you
awesome.
recommended it then?
I've tried, but like no one seems down. So I think the one thing I should bring up first and foremost is like, yo, do you like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz?
I just kind of want to go out on a tangent here.
Okay.
You working at Blockbuster now? What is one of the stupidest movies that's been released recently that a lot of people seem into?
Well, Faster just came out, and I think I talked about that on here as being really bad.
Yeah, I was actually gonna quote unquote rent that on the online thing on the Xbox there.
Right, but I've managed to sway people from that movie for better movies. But there's still like I think I overheard somebody saying like, "Yo, it's like Kill Bill but with The Rock or something." And I was like, "Ugh, yeah, but also
Oh,
really bad."
gross.
And I have no reason to like doubt anyone saying this because I have not seen the film, but like a suspicious number of people, and that number of people is two, have said Centurion is really awesome, and I don't know what that is. Some movie called Centurion.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that movie.
Like two dudes were like, "No man, you know what movie's totally awesome? Centurion." I was like, "Oh, all right, okay."
And they've said this to you?
One person to me, one was talking to somebody else, and I was putting away stuff, and I overheard it, and I was like, "Oh,
Well,
weird."
you know what movie that is, right?
Not really. I'm looking at
It's
it right
basically 300.
now. Okay, Michael Fassbender's in it, and Dominic West.
It was made by the same guy that made The Descent, because I remember after watching The Descent, I wanted to see what else that dude has made.
Oh right, so the Doomsday guy.
Yeah, I was gonna check out Centurion, but, I haven't.
All right, well, according to these two dudes who I don't really know, it's actually really good. So maybe it's good. I don't know.
Well,
I
that's
found
pretty
that
cool.
suspicious.
But I mean, you have free rentals you can use, so you should tell me if it's good.
Right, I guess. But like, there's a lot of cool stuff there that I kind of want to read first, and I did some of that. So I'll talk about those.
We should talk about those after.
Yeah. So far though, I don't want to trash talk anybody there. There seems to be good stuff rented fairly often. Like one person rented JFK, and I was like, oh man, I've been watch that again. Crap. So I'm gonna have to wait now.
Yeah, I haven't seen that since like 90 something.
Yeah, and I don't know.
And I was a dumb kid back then, so.
Yeah, I might get more out of it now, and I kind of liked it then. So, despite how like totally exaggerated it is in some respects and stuff.
Oh, they all are.
Like it's like, no, I believe this happened, so therefore this movie will make that really clear. But that's Oliver Stone. That's fine as long as it's entertaining.
All his movies are like that.
Except apparently World Trade Center, but I haven't seen it. So
I've seen that one.
how was it? Was it not?
It's actually not as bad as you would think.
All right.
A movie about 9/11 made like the year after.
No, it was 06 or something.
Well, yeah, just still. I know. Remember, people were like too soon. It's like no.
Well, United 93 came out the same year too, and that was okay.
That movie's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, just I'm not a big green grass shaky cam kind of guy, but that movie's pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, anyways, yeah, Scott Pilgrim. Buy it. Go ahead. Your next one.
Not much to say. I like the Oscars happened. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit briefly about that at some point. And as that was approaching, I was like, oh wait, I've seen 9 out of 10 of the Best Picture nominees. I should probably see this other one. So, Kids Are Alright, which was the
Yeah, I was actually gonna rent that one yesterday, but
it's not bad. It's okay. Mark Ruffalo's in it. He's alright. Annette Bening though, I don't really like her, and I don't know. She's not great.
yeah.
Like maybe it's just the character, like because she's really kind of uptight and angry all the time in this movie, which isn't like I don't know. But then at some point the story kind of wants you to sympathize with her a bit, and I was just like, nope, whatever. And then I can't really. Yeah, I can't really talk too much about my issue with this movie because it happens pretty late game in it. But I had some issues with how the Mark Ruffalo character was like dealt with as the story.
So is it kind of like a turning point in the movie then?
Well, there's certain revelations that happen partway through. There's a bunch of affairs and stuff that happen and emotional tension and stuff. Well acted, I guess, for the most part. Josh Hutcherson is in it, who you may remember as the kid from Firehouse Dog, or more popularly, that Journey to the Center of the Earth 3D with Brendan Fraser.
Never saw it.
Yeah, all right. There's like 3D piranhas in it, which is kind of cool, but you don't need to. There's another movie that has those, so you don't need
to. Which was awesome.
Kind of. I wish that movie was better, but I don't know. I don't have much
like
to say
technically.
Yeah,
better,
the 3D was really bad. Like I'll gladly watch the sequel. Kids Are Alright. It was pretty good. Although
would you say it was all right?
I would, but I would not say it was necessarily one of the 10 best movies of last year. But it didn't really end up mattering because it didn't win. So whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I don't know. Not much to say. Mark Ruffalo's cool. Julianne Moore's okay.
Would you say I should see it though? Honest opinion.
Like it's clearly kind of going for like a relationship drama thing, kind of like a Little Children or American Beauty or something. I would say it's not as good as either of those. So if that sounds interesting to you, I don't know.
It sounds like a movie I might have to be in the mood for.
Maybe.
Yeah.
To be clear, Little Children is the best of those 3 films I just mentioned. American Beauty is okay. But yeah. Opinions. Anyway. I just wanted to say that because, yeah, it's just a better movie. Little Children. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
It's really good. It's really, really good. Patrick Wilson.
When did that come out?
06.
Okay.
Kate Winslet's in it and Jennifer Connelly, and yeah, it's good. What's next on your list?
Another Michael Cera movie, although I don't like him nearly as much in it as I do in Scott Pilgrim, but Superbad.
It's a great movie. I have 3 copies of it.
Okay then. Yeah, it's pretty good. I watched that one night when I was just chilling out, unpacking stuff. It was a pretty good night, not gonna lie.
Greg Mottola. That guy's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't think there's probably anybody who hasn't seen it at this point.
Yeah, but alright. But for those who haven't, Emma Stone is in it. And,
and I love her.
Yeah. And Jonah Hill. He's pretty funny. Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Actually, that reminds me, Emma Stone's also in The Rocker, which I saw as I was moving.
Nice. Okay. I saw that movie in theaters. I was one of the few. because that movie did
Yeah,
terrible.
because I didn't even remember that coming out in theaters.
Yeah,
But you
having
know
a
what? It's
poster.
actually not bad
Sure, for like a dumb little kind of.
for what it is.
Sure, it was all right. Rainn Wilson as a drummer.
Yep, that pretty much
Will
describes
Arnett.
everything.
Yeah, with a bad British accent. I think Fred Armisen's in it. Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to elaborate on those two films at all? Or?
Um, I mean, if you haven't seen either, go see Superbad because it's much better.
Okay.
But yeah, Emma Stone, love her. What's your next one?
I'll brief like the upcoming movie Paul was directed by the same guy, and I hope that's okay. But the trailer's kind of bad.
Yeah, and I mean it's my name, so it's obviously got some pretty high standards to live up to.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that weird hearing your name mentioned in a movie on screen all the time, or does it just whatever?
Mm,
Because I haven't seen a lot of Nathans in
but like, have you seen a
cinema.
lot of Pauls in movies?
Um.
The weirdest one was Halloween. One of the babysitter's boyfriends is Paul,
Oh, okay.
and it's weird hearing her say that name.
Yeah, I can't think of a lot of Pauls. So in films, I guess. No, that wouldn't have even. I was thinking Last Temptation or something, but
But
he doesn't show up until later.
Netflix was updated recently, and Paulie's up there now. So
What is that?
it's a movie about a bird that can
Oh
talk.
wow, right, the parrot or whatever.
Yeah,
I
I don't know. It's not too bad, I guess, but I mean, it's kind of one of those things that like my parents made fun of me for growing up because Paul.
did you watch that this week or something or?
No, it's just that since I got internet like 2 days ago, I went on Netflix to see if they had updated, and they had, and I went through everything that was new.
Oh man, the tagline for this movie is "The bird is the word."
Yeah,
So
haven't you heard?
yes.
I thought everybody's heard.
All right, I'm just gonna move on
Moving on.
before Family Guy references happen or something. I watched Drive Angry, and
Oh my
wow,
god, you have to tell me how that is.
it's so good. Well,
Oh my
okay,
god, I know, right?
just to all right, it's exactly what I wanted it to be. This isn't for everybody, obviously. Like it's very cheesy on purpose. Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage seems a little bit kind of restrained as compared to how I've seen him before, but there's a really great like kiss he gives this one waitress early in the movie that totally reminded me of the scene in Face Off on the airplane.
Okay, yeah,
So good. That's a good callback for me. So I was like, all right, this is
yeah.
great. And then it just does so many stupid, ridiculous things over the course of it. William Fichtner is amazing in it. Like he just has so many great lines. He's basically this like demonic accountant dude or something who's following them. I don't know.
That guy's creepy, man.
Yeah, and he's pretty funny here at the
He
same
was
time.
actually in a movie I saw yesterday, but we'll get to that.
Okay. It's doing terribly at the box office, so just yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's probably the best movie that's come out recently because it looks awesome.
Well, okay. I guess it was, or I guess is, but there was another really good movie that just came out a couple days ago, but I'll talk about that later. Um, but yeah, no, if you want like just crazy, ridiculous, like Machete esque stuff, but better, because I was really disappointed by Machete because it didn't stay over the top long enough, kind of.
And
It
this has
opened really
Nicolas
good.
Cage.
Yeah, and this also has Nicolas Cage, William Fichtner, Amber Heard does a great job, which I wasn't really expecting. She's punching people and saying horrible things, which is great. Billy Burke, who is you may remember from the Twilight films as Bella's dad.
No, sir, I do not.
That's fair, but I kind of thought he was one of the best parts of those movies because like every time he shows up, he's like, oh wow, this guy actually has way more personality than all these like dead-eyed teenagers. So this is okay. But he actually gets to just go totally weird as playing this cult leader guy in this movie, and he has a great time too. So he's pretty fun. There's like weird,
Cool.
yeah. It kind of reminded me of like Evil Dead at times, like Machete, Death Proof, Planet Terror, that kind of stuff. Like the kind of self-aware Neo grindhouse thing. some people are complaining that it's like too like cheesy on purpose, like it's too self-aware or whatever, but those people just don't know how to have fun. So go see it. It's really good. I'm probably gonna see it again. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And the 3D stuff is not great, but it at least makes it cheesier, which helps. So
I can't find anyone to go to that movie with me because nobody wants to see a 3D movie with Nicolas Cage.
those people make me sad. But
I have terrible friends.
okay, we may or may not be going tomorrow, which is March 8th or 7th. Whatever. We're recording on March 7th. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
So we may or may not see that tomorrow. I don't know. Depends how things go, but I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, let me know. I'd love to go see that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got really. Public service announcement. If you like film, you should probably go see it. So yeah,
I will agree with that, and I haven't seen it.
there you go. The director of My Bloody Valentine 3D. So awesome.
Well,
So,
I want to keep the Nicolas Cage thing going here,
okay.
because the next movie I saw was Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans.
Pretty amazing, right?
You know, it's not bad. I thought it was going to be kind of crappy with Nicolas Cage doing his, like, craziness. That's, like, the only thing that saves it.
But no, it's
But,
a Werner Herzog. You know.
yeah, it's pretty good. I would actually recommend it to people.
Oh yeah. No,
But,
it's got animals in it for no reason. It's weird.
yeah, like, all those parts where there's just, like, a handheld, like, looking at something for, like, 5 minutes.
Well, it's not. It's never 5 minutes, but my favorite one of
Well,
those
you
is
know,
like they're at this car accident scene, and it's just like, hey, check it
yeah,
out. Here's this gator. What's he doing? Look at this little
on the
gator.
side of the road,
And
but
it's
it's
just like,
like on his level,
yeah,
on the ground,
it just
and it's like looking up at the scene, kind of
it
where he is, like he's in front of the camera, but like in the scene,
yeah, it
and
just
they're
kind of.
the whole iguana thing. They're just like looking at an iguana. No,
No, yeah,
no
that
iguana.
bit was great too. Uh, sorry, and then
His
there's
shoot him again. His soul's dancing.
yeah, that was good too. He has this weird little line about this football player sprouting antlers, and then he scored a touchdown, and he's like high on coke at the time. It's pretty awesome. It's just a great movie. Um, yeah, I recommend checking it out.
Me too.
Um, yeah, I don't really know what else to say other than those two should probably team up again because they did wondrous things. So yeah, that's probably the best like legitimate Nick Cage performance in a while.
Yeah, because that just came out last year, right? Well, I mean,
Late
two
09 or
years.
something. Yeah, so it's pretty recent. Um, yeah, my turn or
Yeah,
okay.
your turn.
Uh, did you ever see The Last Detail with Jack Nicholson?
With Jack Nicholson, no.
Okay. It's 1973, I think, so just before Chinatown and stuff. It was kind of one of the first. Well, I mean, I think he got nominated for supporting actor for Easy Rider or something, but it was an early kind of Nicholson award movie kind of thing. He was nominated for an Oscar and
That's
stuff.
the one where he looks like Popeye, right?
Yeah, he plays the
On
sailor
the cover.
named Badusky or something, which kind of at one point he kind of like points out like, "Yo, I'm badass," and that is probably the earliest time like earliest chronology I can think of that term coming up in that manner. But I don't know. I'm sure it existed elsewhere, obviously, but in a movie that struck me as something interesting. Um, yeah, it's pretty good. It's basically about who's the guy? He and this other sailor played by Otis something, who didn't really go on to do anything, but he was actually pretty good in it too. Um,
Okay.
there are two sailors charged with escorting this one young guy to prison. And he is played by Randy Quaid.
Very nice.
Otis Young is the other guy. He plays Mulhall to Jack Nicholson's Badusky. And yeah, they basically pretty shortly after they pick him up, they establish like, oh man, this guy is totally being unjustly like sentenced to a way bigger sentence for no reason. He stole like $40 from a charity thing, and the the charity is apparently really close to like the local governor's wife's like preoccupations, so they kind of hit him extra hard, and he has to go to jail for like 8 years or something. So they feel pretty bad for him and decide to just show him a good time before he gets sent in or whatever. So then it's just kind of following them around as they go and I don't know, close out some bars and stuff and go to a brothel and all the things sailors do.
Right.
And they just kind of talk about stuff and whatever. Uh, yeah, pretty leisurely kind of movie, but I guess the dialogue is pretty explicit considering it was the early 70s. So that's kind of an interesting historical note, I guess. Nicholson's pretty great. That guy's fun to watch. And yeah, Otis Young, despite never really going on to much beyond that, he was pretty good too. They play off each other pretty well. Randy Quaid, I think it's one of those things, like kind of like Adrian Brody and The Pianist kind of thing, where they just kind of look sad, so people think they're acting really well, but really they just
Right.
look right. So I just that might not be fair to say because I mean I'm basing most of my opinion of Randy Quaid on Cousin Eddie from the Vacation movies, so I don't know.
No, you should base everything on him playing Russell in Independence Day.
Oh, okay. It's same basic guy though, so just one's in a
That's
plane.
true.
Um, so either like I don't know. I have a fairly low opinion of Randy Quaid for some reason, but he's okay, I guess. Um, and yeah, they just kind of go along and stuff happens and it's kind of okay. That was on Netflix, so yeah,
Awesome. I might check that one out.
yeah, it's a nice little movie. Hal Ashby was the director. Um, but yeah, no, it was pretty good. What's next on yours?
Mine next one is actually another early '70s movie. It's came out in '72. Deliverance
Oh yeah,
by by John Borman.
who we all know from Zardoz.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Uh,
But
I mean, I don't know what you can say about Deliverance that hasn't been said before.
yo, that banjo playing is crazy.
Yeah, the dueling banjos.
Yeah, that
I
bit's
remember I had that on my iPod for a long time. It's just awesome.
yeah, that bit's pretty cool. And then poor Ned Beatty, things happen to him, and it's upsetting.
Yeah, they make him squeal like a pig.
But then Burt Reynolds shows up, and you're like, yeah. Spoilers, but
Yeah, and then the rest of the movie is just kind of how they deal with what happened,
yeah.
pretty much.
I remember it being pretty good.
It is pretty good. I don't know if it holds up as well as I thought it would these days. Mainly, maybe I just wasn't really in the mood for like what had to be probably close to a 2 hour movie that's just like them talking about what happened.
So it's just kind of shows its age, or is it just kind of leisurely, like slow paced, or?
It's not a movie that you like if you're looking for a good time. This isn't the movie you put in.
Well, no.
Spoilers, but getting raped is not a good time. I don't know. I guess I just was in the mood for something light, and I didn't know it, but I threw it in anyway because it was on the top of my list
Okay.
of like the next one to go in.
That seems like the worst decision then. It's just like, man, I'm looking for some lighthearted movie. What's next? Alright.
Deliverance.
This is,
Yeah.
I like both.
And it's funny because like even people that haven't seen the movie knows what happens in it and knows that it's not a great idea.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's not even the subject matter. It's just kind of the pacing and everything. I probably should have just put in something that was either, I don't know, something a little more fast paced or something comedic. Because this is neither.
No. No, there's very little.
But you know
that's
what?
funny
It's
about
not
it.
a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. But it was, I don't know.
Just wrong
I will
movie
watch
at
it
the wrong
again,
time.
just in a different mindset.
Alright. This is kind of a carryover from previous times, but I wrapped up watching the TV show Saxondale this week, which is a Steve Coogan creation.
Okay.
He plays a kind of a what would we say? A former roadie from the '70s who toured with a lot of big bands and stuff, who's now just in oh man, pest control, and it's just kind of him dealing with day-to-day stuff and kind of realizing his glory days are behind him and whatever. And his girlfriend and this dude Raymond who works with them, and it's kind of sitcom-y, but in that fun, awkward British way, which I
Right.
quite enjoy. For the most part, there's like one like really flamboyantly gay character that shows up periodically who's just so stereotypical. I don't know. I don't find it that funny. He's just more of annoying than he ought to be or whatever. That's my one issue with the show on a regular basis. He just pops up and you're just like, oh, all right, great, this is fun. But yeah. Other than that, that show's pretty fun. There's like two series, which means there's like 13 episodes because it's a British show. So it's pretty easy to watch all of it. But yeah, no, it's pretty good. Steve Coogan's pretty great, but I will talk at length about the genius of Steve Coogan a little bit later. So, what is
Right.
next for you?
Um, well, coming off of Deliverance, like I was saying, I was kind of like wanting something a little more upbeat.
Mm-hmm.
So I threw in there the 40-Year-Old Virgin,
All
and
right.
because that's a lot more upbeat.
It
like,
is. How do you feel about it?
I like that movie. It has a good nostalgia for me because I remember it came out in theaters and I didn't care about it because it looked stupid. But then it was just kind of like, hey, let's go to a movie. So we went to that at around midnight. It was like a late showing.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the last time I had, at that point, had such a good time at the theater. It was just really funny.
Yeah, it kind of kicked off the whole like Apatow revolution or whatever,
Right,
and Steve
which is
Carell
fine.
kind of being catapulted to leading man status and stuff.
That one's not so fine because I don't really like Steve Carell.
Oh,
But
okay, but
he was okay in that movie.
it's just kind of weird. That makes me think like the entirety of The Office and stuff is all taking place in like the last 6 years. So it's pretty fast, and that movie kind
Yeah.
of made that happen and everything. But I don't know. I like Steve just fine. He's pretty good. But Seth Rogen's in it too, and Paul Rudd, who's a pretty funny man.
Yeah, I mean, it really was the movie that kickstarted Apatow from his, like, TV
TV,
series
like failed
thing to,
TV
like,
series.
actual
Yeah,
money making.
yeah. Which may be kind of waning now a bit. I don't know. Like the last ones haven't
I
been
mean,
doing as big.
yes, but I don't think so. Yeah, they haven't been doing it as big, but he's still getting a lot of work.
Yeah, no, I don't think
So,
like he's out or something. It's just they kind of reached its peak in '07, and now it's kind of been in a bit of
well,
a
I mean, he's
decline.
already started on another movie, right?
Yeah, just funny people really didn't
So,
seem to take well with most
but you know
people.
what? Funny People was pretty good. Like, it was one of the more recent Sandler movies I could stand him in.
Yeah,
So, but I mean, that's not saying much because I really kind of don't like Adam Sandler, circa present.
yeah,
But
he's gotten really lazy, which is too bad because people keep paying to see him, so he's not really going to be incentivized to do anything
yeah, and at
challenging.
the same time, it's hard to fault him because if I was getting money for doing nothing, I'd do nothing as well.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, you're just gonna watch us hang out here and make it in a movie? All right, grown ups."
Yeah,
But
exactly. So I'm gonna get David Spade, which is the worst idea ever.
yeah, you're not wrong at all. Like for a while, I was defending him for some reason, but he
Why? You have to tell me.
I don't. I'm trying to remember like what it was. Like maybe I caught one too many episodes of like that Just Shoot Me show. Well, I was on vacation one summer and I was like, this is not horrible, and then moved on or something, and he somehow got into the positive side of my brain. But I watched Tommy Boy again, and he really drags that movie down from
He
Chris
does,
Farley's
and I mean,
greatness.
you know, Dickie Roberts.
I didn't see that. I didn't see Joe Dirt.
It's terrible.
Yeah. So maybe I just haven't watched enough to form a full opinion, and the inevitable conclusion is he's pretty
Right, but you
awful.
know what? That's a good thing.
All right, I guess
You
I'll
should
just
go with that.
stay
Roll
away
with
from
it.
Mr. Spade. Um, but yeah, okay. And then Kevin James. I don't know. He's a likable enough person, but I haven't enjoyed. Well, I didn't see most of Paul Blart, to be fair. So maybe it's great.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's really terrible.
All right. That's how I felt with like the half hour I caught on TV one time, but I don't know. You got to view the whole film as a complete work, you know,
I
maybe.
guess, but I mean,
But
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. We don't have to get into that. My problem with Kevin James is that he does seem like a likable guy, and I bet he's great in like real life.
Hmm.
But he's always the awkward fat guy, and being the awkward fat guy, I don't appreciate it.
Okay. He's not doing a service to.
He's not doing it for me.
Okay.
You gotta speak to my people, yo.
All right. Actually, I might end up bringing Mr. James up again in the future because there's a common link between him and a film I saw. So
Oh,
we'll
foreshadowing.
yeah we'll put a pin in that one for now.
I would
Um,
love to.
I saw Exit Through the Gift Shop, and it's pretty cool. All right.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see that. Where did you see it?
I rented it. It is now on DVD, and it's been out for over a month. So guess who gets to rent it for free?
Yeah,
That's
that whole
me.
free thing. I've
It's
been
pretty fun.
thinking of applying at Blockbuster just for rentals.
Yeah, and considering how many staff they seem to keep on per store, you may be able to get away with like a shift a week or something, which is really weird. But
Yeah, because there's always like 5 people in there.
there's at least a dozen people working at our location, which is more than enough. So it's weird. But anyway, I don't think that's too specific. If you go to that store, you'll just like, yeah, there's a lot of people here. You know, it's not confidential. But anyway,
Anyways, so that's the Banksy film, right?
yes, which is kind of great because like it's hard to tell, but I'm pretty sure a good chunk of that movie, and I don't want to sound stupid because it's kind of apparent, but maybe I'm wrong and they just lied really well or something. I don't know. A good chunk of that movie is just kind of fake. There's like this character named Terry Guetta, and I'm pretty sure he's just an actor playing a character, which kind of just works as kind of this big prank that Banksy basically plays on the LA art scene as part of the
Well,
movie.
I mean, that's really something Banksy would do.
I know. So my viewing of the film, like I heard someone talking about it like in our store who seemed to take it as like genuine and was like disappointed that it didn't just follow Banksy around for the most part. Instead, it was following around this other guy. But I think that's kind of the joke. So maybe they missed a part of it, but whatever. The Terry Guetta guy, I'm pretty sure is just like they got this guy because his story is ridiculous. Like almost immediately, it was like, oh yeah, no, I've been filming everything since I was a little kid, basically, or whatever. So like just as like some sort of weird narrative explanation as to why all this footage exists, which I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's just a fabrication for our benefit, and it is kind of funny. But yeah, he's this guy who ostensibly like meets up with all the world's best street artists and just kind of hangs out with them and films them paint and stuff. Um,
Right.
and then partway through the movie, it's like, but I never got to meet Banksy, so I really wanted to. And then at some point, like Banksy was in LA. Like he talks to you via like having a mask on and his hood up and like a
Right.
serial killer voice or whatever, like the
Or like a
voice
witness.
distortion kind of thing. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So you know, the whole anonymous thing is still there. And he's pretty great. He has some funny little bits and stuff where he's like he shows off like a big box of like counterfeit money they basically made, but that wasn't their intention. It was supposed to be obviously joke money with Princess Diana on it,
Okay.
but apparently like it was too good, like because you could just crumple it up a bit and like no one could tell the difference, so they handed it out once at like a festival or something and then realized people were actually getting away with spending it, and they're just like, oh crap, we just counterfeited all this money, we better stop right now. So it's just in boxes in like an attic somewhere or
It
something.
went from like a statement to like,
To, like, oops.
really illegal activity.
Yeah, like anyone who's really paying attention should be able to notice, but it was too subtle apparently, so it's pretty funny. But I don't know. They show dudes painting stuff. Who's the guy? The Obey Andre the Giant thing. Fairy, I think his name is.
Okay.
Basically, this movie made me want to play Getting Up Contents Under Pressure again, the Mark Echo graffiti game.
I was gonna buy that for $10.
You probably should. It's kind of cool. It's kind of a cool game. There's
I like
nothing
the
else
case for it too.
quite like it out there. So yeah, that game's all right. So kind of remind me of that. And yeah, the big prank thing is basically like the Terry Guetta guy ends up painting for himself, but not really. Like he basically hires a bunch of dudes to just like make really lame like totally obvious street art stuff. Like, I don't know, I took Elvis and instead of a guitar, it's like a machine gun, and the machine gun's purple, and it's just like, all right. And then there's just like dozens of those with different colors, and that's some of his stuff. And they basically host this giant show in this like abandoned TV studio or something, with like all this like cookie cutter garbage stuff, like just like I don't know, it's like Andy Warhol's soup can, but it's a can of spray paint. So
Okay.
I think that's kind of cool. And like, it's just him talking about it, and it's like there's no thoughts or critique or anything. There's nothing in it at all. But then like they're interviewing all these people that are at the art show, and they're just like blown away by it. And he sells like $1 million worth of stuff in his first weekend or whatever. Like, it's just basically showing like just how totally shallow and lame the art world can be, and that's kind of great. But I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure like the guy, Mr. Brainwash or whatever, is just he's not genuinely that guy. He's just like a dude Banksy hired to do this thing. So it's a documentary in that like real stuff happened, but there's a bunch of lies in it too, which is kind of weird. But
And
yeah,
it was nominated for an Oscar too.
yeah, and I kind of wish it won because I like it when fun, happy documentaries come out because they're fun to watch. Like I like King of Kong a
Yeah,
lot. That's a great movie.
it really is.
But the stuff that seems to win all the time is like really depressing. Just like, no, everything's going horribly, man. Just, oh, you don't even know, like that kind
It's
of
like you
stuff.
don't even know how bad the world is right now. You should probably just kill yourself.
Yeah, like
It's
I
like,
don't
oh
even
man,
want to get
really?
into it, but I started watching like the first little bit of The Corporation. That movie's just depressing. This is a depressing movie. It's just like, yo, giant companies own everything you love, and like they're probably paying like some kid 2 cents to make it, and you're just like, shut up, I don't care. I need to buy these pants. Leave me alone.
I need to buy these pants from Walmart
I
for
know.
2 cents.
Like I need this deal. Come on, I can't. Oh. And then they're just making you feel bad about everything you do. So like
That's
whatever.
really too bad because I'm a big proponent of buying stuff for cheap.
Yeah, I know. But apparently someone somewhere is hurting real bad because of it. But just ignorance is bliss, man. Just leave me alone. But yeah. So this didn't win. Inside Job won, which for all I know is great. But it's about the financial crisis, and aren't we done with that by now? That was like 3 years ago. Move on.
I don't think the states are.
All
We're
right.
getting out of it, but I mean their bank system is kind of weird compared to ours.
Yeah. So apparently that's good, but I don't know. It's not my kind of movie. But anyway,
Totally.
what did you see?
The next one was the remake of 310 to Yuma, starring Russell Crowe and Christian Bale.
All right,
Did you ever see this one?
I did. I
You're not a
remember.
huge fan of westerns, though, right?
Hmm. No, I'm not. Not really. But my big issue was that it was kind of just the ending. But
Of this one?
yeah, it just seemed kind of like
Yeah, that end is. Yeah, it's definitely an end, but I don't know. I don't know. The movie's pretty good. I never saw the original. I can't even remember who directed this one.
it's not Mateague. It's Mars dude who did Girl Interrupted and Copland.
Oh, Mangold.
Yeah, James Mangold, that guy. Um, Peter Fonda's in it, right?
Yeah, he's the one jerk guy, the older guy.
Yeah, Ben Foster or something.
Yeah, Ben Foster's his
Oh.
like right hand man.
Yeah, and Luke Wilson shows up for like a minute and a half or something. Right, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, and
Um,
Alan Tudyk's in it.
oh, okay. I don't remember disliking it really, but I don't know, something about it just it deflated at the end or something. But that was just my take on it.
It's probably because the end is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of depressing.
I guess maybe I didn't quite understand some of the decision making processes from the main like Russell Crowe's character, but
Oh, you mean the complete 360 he took from the beginning of the movie to like
well,
halfway
180 would be
Yeah,
yeah.
I guess. Yeah, the
Um,
180, like complete 180 though.
it seemed that way, but like I've heard it described to me by some people who really liked it as like not quite as like a betraying kind of move from on his part. Do we want to just talk about it? Like, just put up a spoiler Spoiler warning
Yeah,
for
spoiler.
310 to Yuma.
Yeah, 310 to Yuma, spoiler, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, just basically the idea that he would then get on the train. It was just like he will escape later. He just wanted Christian Bale's character to get his or whatever because he respected him.
Right.
Which is the only way I can be okay with that because otherwise it's just like what? Why would he do that? It doesn't make any sense.
Unless he's just a jerk and was toying with him the whole time.
Nah, which I don't. That seems weird. I don't know. Like he just seems to become way more compassionate and stuff at the end, which made no sense to me. But maybe there's some gradual, him gradually really starting to take a shine to Christian Bale's character. I don't remember, but I'll probably watch it again. It was cool.
No, I think that all happened when they went to Christian Bale's house for dinner or whatever when they were waiting for
Oh, that night.
the posse
really
there that
right.
night, and he like saw the family and stuff, and he started to like respect him and blah blah blah.
Okay. Doesn't he have a kind of mangled leg or something from the Civil War?
Yeah, he lost his leg fighting in the war, but he lost it from like one of his own dudes shooting during a retreat
Oh, that sucks.
because he was like a failure in the eyes of his kids, and like him and his wife had a terrible marriage and stuff. I think Russell Crowe was just like, "Yo, this guy needs to get his stuff going here, so maybe I could help him." That's probably more akin to what they were trying to go for, but to me it seemed like it was just like, hey, I don't know what's going on because I was bad, but now I can probably get on this train.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that I just remember that being the one issue, and maybe some of the action scenes were a little too zoomed in or something. I don't. I seem to vaguely remember being a bit disoriented from time to time, but I don't know.
I don't think it was as violent as it should have been,
I don't. Yeah, I can't
because
remember.
westerns are usually pretty violent, like even the old ones.
Well, a lot of people die. There's usually high body count, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess that'll do it for the 310 human discussion. So you can start listening again now, which is useless because you probably won't be hearing this, but whatever.
Right.
I watched Megamind. I don't know. It's kind of okay.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I never really cared about that movie at all.
That's totally fair, but like it was kind of. I guess it's just like I had super low expectations and stuff, but it has a couple chuckle worthy moments in it. Jonah Hill's in it more than I expected. David Cross plays a fish character in a robot suit, which has a couple good moments in it, and I like that dude. So
Did you ever see Despicable Me?
I did, and I really didn't like it. So
Which of these two would you see?
I would say Megamind because at least it's kind of silly and funny, as opposed to just kind of dumb. But I'm apparently in the minority on Despicable Me, so a lot of people seem to really like it.
What was so bad about it?
Despicable Me, I don't know. Just like none of the gags really were that like funny. Like
Are you just being a sourpuss again?
maybe, but I like maybe if I was 10 or something, it would just be the best. Like it would just be like, man, this guy's got a shark. This is hilarious. But for me, it's just like, all right, this is crazy slapstickery. I don't know. And
Yeah, but neither of us are 10, so...
you're right, but at the same time, I can still enjoy some like Looney Tunes cartoons. That stuff's funny. Like that's good slapstick. This
No,
stuff,
I was agreeing with you. Like, neither of us are 10. We need more than just stupid stuff
oh,
like that.
right. Okay, no, but I'm saying I could go for some stupid provided it's quality. I just felt this was lacking. It wasn't zany enough or silly enough to be fun. And I didn't like the voice Steve Carell was doing. Like he's doing like a bad kind of Russian accent or something.
Yeah,
For
well,
his
you know how
supervillain
I feel
voice.
about Steve Carell.
Yeah, so this really won't help that case at all. But yeah, I don't know. Something about it just really didn't work for me. Maybe I saw it on a day when I really just wasn't in the right mindset for that at all. But that movie didn't do anything for me. This movie was kind of just harmless enough and kind of funny. Brad Pitt's in it for a little bit. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, he plays kind of the superhero antagonist to Megamind's supervillain at the beginning of the movie, and then he kind of goes away for a bit. So,
Like a Superman type thing?
well, he's killed in the first little bit. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, the beginning is basically Superman. It's like imagine Krypton had a neighboring planet that also sent a baby, and they both landed on Earth. and then
Oh,
bots,
okay.
and they were rivals for decades, like from childhood. Is
Oh
kind of the
wow, so
film.
there really is a similarity.
There's though no, it's I'd say it's basically a homage or something. Like no, there's straight up like at one point Will Ferrell is doing like a bad Marlon Brando impression as like Superman's father kind of thing, and it's actually pretty funny. So yeah, if you like Will Ferrell, it has some moments for you, and I kind of do. So yeah.
Uh, because I kind of don't, but that's okay.
Well,
I
don't
like him more than Steve Carell.
you don't need to see it. I'm not saying you need to see it. I'm just saying if for some reason it's like, yo, you have to watch one of these movies, or I will totally burn your house down. Watch Megamind. I think it's a little shorter too. So
Dude, I just moved. Not cool.
exactly.
I don't want to move again.
Okay, so watch Megamind as opposed to letting that happen. That'd be the best terrorist ever. Like, just
Wait a minute. So, watch Megamind, or you,
no, I
Nathan Rohr,
won't.
will burn
I
down
will
my
not
house.
get some arson type business going on. I'm just saying, given this hypothetical scenario, which is admittedly absurd.
Well, internet, you heard it here. So if my house burns down, I got evidence now.
Yeah, you have this testimony. Whatever. What did you see?
My next one was Dirty Harry.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. Really good movie. Don Siegel joint from back in, like, really early 70s, I guess. Maybe even 1970.
71 or something maybe, but yeah, it was really early.
Okay. Yeah. I don't
Fun
know
fact,
what.
based on the Zodiac killings. So how about that?
Yeah. I don't know what you can say about Dirty Harry that hasn't been said before. Again, it's one of those things that, like, if you've seen a movie that references stuff, it probably one of the references came from Dirty Harry.
Well, like the
Eventually.
Do You Feel Lucky punk kind of stuff. But yo, he jumps on
Yeah.
that school bus and that was kind of cool.
And the whole thing with, like, the killer, like, bringing him around by phone, making him go by foot, was, like, totally ripped off in Die Hard with a Vengeance. Like, there's been a lot of homages to it that other
Although
movies
to be
have done.
fair, I think Dirty Harry might have ripped it off from High and Low.
Yeah, that's very likely.
Like, I'm pretty sure the Mifune character is led around town via payphones. Which all of those movies just kind of remind me, like, oh wow, yeah, there's no payphones anymore. Like, so that just wouldn't
Yeah.
work.
Well, I remember the big thing was they were 25 cents, and then they added dime to it, so it was 35 cents to make a call.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I'm going to go ahead and say that's what killed it.
Yeah, it's just, who has dimes around too? That's just stupid. So, there you go. Also, cell phones. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
probably contributed. So now you can do the same scene. It's just they call your cell phone, and then you're like, oh okay. Or like
And you
Eagle
never
Eye,
hang
where
up.
they call somebody else's cell phone, and because like the twist of that movie, I can't even get into it. But whatever. Someone
Yeah.
else's cell phone rings, and then Shia LaBeouf's like, what? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyways, it's a really good movie, and it reminded me how many, like, people love San Francisco for chase stuff.
hmm
I can see why, though. It's a really hilly city.
Did you see the sequels?
I own all of them, and they're in a Dirty Harry collection, but I haven't seen any of them except for Dirty Harry.
Okay. I think I've seen 3 of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I might go on to Magnum Force next, but it wasn't like on my schedule or anything.
They get pretty silly, but I mean Clint Eastwood's there, and I don't know, they're kind of fun. But Magnum Force, I think especially, was just kind of dumb. Like it's like a group of motorcycle dudes are causing problems. Dirty Harry's got to figure it out. It's just like, all right,
Gotta figure it out.
yeah, case something. And at one point, like a pimp kills a hooker with like a can of something. It's weird. It's weird 70s stuff they got away with back then. But yeah.
Yeah, like in Dirty Harry, there's a part where he takes a school bus.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And one of the kids starts asking where they're going, and he just punches the kid in the face.
It's amazing. Like, what's the killer's name? Like the Scorpio Killer or something?
Yeah, his name's Scorpio Killer, but I can't remember the real name. It was oh my god, what's his name? He's been in quite a few things back in the day. Andrew Robinson played him.
He's apparently in the Hellraiser. And Cobra, one of the best films
Yeah,
of all time.
it's
Anyway.
pretty good. I have 2 copies of it.
Awesome. One to lend out, because you can't never be without yours, because you never know when the mood will strike.
That's
Watch some
true.
Cobra. Next, the movie after this, I don't know. All right. Nick Cage. Movie's called Next. It came out like 4 years ago. It isn't good, but I had an unusually good time with it until like the last 10 minutes. So
Okay.
yeah, it's not great by any stretch, but like people kept saying like, oh man, this is so bad. Like this is like Bangkok Dangerous bad. It's not. He like Nick Cage showed up for this movie and he's actually having an okay time. The conceit of the movie is kind of cool. Like, dude plays a Vegas magician who also happens to have the ability to see like 2 minutes into his own future. You with me?
Oh, I'm completely with you. I don't know anything about this, so
All
I'm
right.
on pins and needles here.
Okay, so dude can see into his own future, but for some reason he can also see into Jessica Biel's future. So like, are
Oh,
they
snap.
destined to be together or something? I don't know. So he waits at this one restaurant all the time just in case this is the day she shows up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
then Julianne Moore plays this like angry FBI agent person who wants to recruit him to help find this nuke or whatever, which is kind of the dumbest thing ever because like they're all of the FBI's efforts seem to be focused on making this crazy stupid plan work with Nick Cage as opposed to any other kind of counterterrorism of any kind. So that kind of bothered me a bit, but it's a dumb movie, so don't think about it. Um,
Right.
and I mean, it's the director of Die Another Day and like Triple X Day of the Union, so it's kind of bad. But
Yeah.
there was like a couple scenes that struck me as kind of funny, just in light of Super Meat Boy, which is kind of a
Okay.
weird thing to say. Basically, like it's almost like he can see like every hypothetical situation before it happens, but only up until his own death. So it'll be like, there's one scene that was totally just Super Meat Boy, basically, like the replays at the end of a level.
Yeah.
When you just see all the failed attempts to beat the level happen?
Yeah.
It's like that. So, like, Nick Cage starts walking towards this guy with a gun. And
So
then
are you telling me there's like 3 Nick Cages and they all die except one?
there's like 12 or something. It's
Oh
awesome.
my god.
So it's just like Nick Cage walks towards him, that Nick Cage dies. But then, Nick Cage saw that was going to happen, so then he avoids that bullet by just kind of moving a bit. And then he gets caught by another bullet, though, so then that Nick Cage dies. So then there's 3 Nick Cages, and then that Nick Cage does another little thing, and he dodges that bullet, but then he catches the next one, and so on and so forth. So the way it plays out in the movie is basically just like he walks towards him, and you just see like 12 ghost Nick Cages eat it as he walks towards him, and then he just smacks the gun out of his hand. And it's just,
Okay, you
that's
sold
awesome.
me. I'm gonna go look for this in the store.
That's the best part of that movie, though. Like, there's some other stuff kind of similar, but they don't show the process going into it really. So it's just kind of him like getting through situations that are ridiculous. Like he's running down this hill as all this crap is falling behind him and like flipping over him and stuff. But presumably because of his powers, he saw that, oh wait, if I stop here for more than like 3 seconds, I'll get crushed. So I got to keep moving or sit here or whatever or pause for half a second, that kind of thing. So they do make good use of this absurd superpower. Problem is though, like the movie totally had me for like most of it. And then at the end, it pulls some like horrible, like Usual Suspect style business where it's just like, forget about it, nothing that just happened really matters. And I was really angry. So yeah, it basically pulls the rug out from under you in the last like 5 minutes, and in service of like some retarded twist, and then it's just all right.
This movie sounds kind of good, the
It's
way you're describing it.
it's kind of dumb, goofy kind of stuff, and Nick Cage, again, he's having a pretty good time. Like, there's no Nick Cage style freakouts, but there's some good Nick Cage just kind of like being excited and like saying weird things and whatever.
Does he do any wide eyes?
Not in like a vampire's kiss kind of way, but
But like at all?
there's some earnest, stares and stuff. There's some okay business with him. I just like
Sold.
seeing him do stuff. Yeah, it's like 90 minutes. It's reasonably dumb, and I don't know. I kind of liked it. But yeah, again, like just get ready for the dumbest thing at the end of that movie. Like it almost ruins all of the goodwill I had for it at the end, but that Meat Boy comparisons and stuff, which you couldn't make in 2007 back when it came out, so I totally understand why critics hated it. But
Yeah,
in light of Super Meat Boy, pretty great movie.
best movie ever.
All right, best filmed kind of exploration of that notion of basically being able to reset and try again. But yeah.
Best Super Meat Boy like exploration in a film setting.
Next is right up there, so check it out.
It's probably the only one.
You're right. Yeah, because I mean, Prince of Persia kind of has the time rewinded thing, so I think you see him die and then he just does it again at one point.
But that doesn't really count.
No, it's not
that's
quite the
like
same.
Braid.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, all right. Just time rewinding is different, but anyway. What was next for you?
Next for me was Akira,
All right.
an anime back from 1988.
Right.
So
we had a little Facebook.
We had a little back and forth there, and by back and forth, I mean you said two things, and then I replied, and that was really it because we said all we needed to.
Right.
But yeah, I made a comment. Do you remember what that comment was?
Like best of the century.
No, it was best of last century.
Right. Okay.
And I think
whereas
that's where
I took it to be like the best anime
ever
of the last 100 years.
Right. No, what I meant was like up till the year 2000, it was the
Okay.
best.
And after snarkily saying like, actually, anime hasn't been around for 100 years, so sorry about that. That was very snobbish, but it was like I just woke up. So
I was actually going to bring that up. I was like, then Nathan the movie snob here.
Yeah.
Decided to try to school me, even though
I checked in Wikipedia. I was like, yeah, 1917, which I thought I was surprised by that because I thought it started in like the 50s or something. But anyway, beyond that, you were basically like up until 2000, it was the best. And I don't know.
To clarify, I said one of the best because
I was like, yo, Miyazaki, man. But
Miyazaki is really good. I mean, he is probably undoubtedly the best. But in terms of I don't think all of his stuff is amazing, but he has some really good stuff. I was speaking specifically about the movie.
Okay.
With this one,
I don't know if it just got too talked up or something for too long. Well, I think I first heard about it in junior high or something, and then I didn't see it for 6 years.
Who talked it up?
Just I don't know, people I knew, comic book fiends and stuff.
But then, really?
Yeah, no.
Because I don't remember the last time I had heard about it.
It just, I don't know, comes up periodically, and then I was just like, alright, dude, wow, man, I'm gonna finally check this out. And I was like, okay, it's about this motorcycle dudes, and this guy's got psycho powers, alright. It was okay. But, what happens in the last 10 minutes of that movie?
I do agree with you with the last 10 minutes. I don't know, is there a spoiler thing?
It's 22 years old, but, I mean, I guess
if you don't want to know the ending of Akira, just don't listen, but...
Right.
Basically, what happens is Tetsuo's power overwhelms him and starts taking over, and then Akira comes back from the dead or from his universe, which he created, because he was too powerful for ours, and took them all with him. So they are masters of their own universe.
What? Okay, I just remember some general guy staring at this screen, and he was like, "Oh man, the power's too much," or something.
To be fair, that movie seems like it's two different movies.
Okay.
At a point, because that movie is great up until his arm gets shot off, and then it grows into some cybernetic type thing.
Which looks super cool.
It does, but I don't like that because it doesn't fit with everything that's been going up to it. Because it was somewhat based in a weird reality.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it's no, it's anime tentacles.
Yeah, and then it just goes insane. And yeah, that's probably where the movie lost me. But at the same time, it kind of still had me because of just how crazy it looked.
Totally.
And doesn't some girl get crushed or something? That just disturbed me and bothered me. I was like, oh, that's the worst. Come on.
Inside him.
I was so upset.
It's the way it's shown because you see her and the things surrounding her. And then it starts closing in, and then there's just blood everywhere.
Yeah, she just gets crushed instantly, and you're just like, "Oh no, that really didn't work for me at all." So,
and it's kind of disturbing because they cared about her, including him that was doing it.
Yeah, and then it just kind of happens, and then craziness, and then it's over. And I was just like, oh, all right, okay. Like you had me, and then you lost me, but
And I
whatever.
will go so far to say is that movie is about 2 hours long. It
Hmm.
feels like it's probably like 3 or 4. It just feels really drawn out in a lot of spots.
Okay. Yeah, but still was pretty. Didn't it kind of crib a lot of visual aesthetic from like Blade Runner? Is that fair to say for Neo Tokyo?
Um, I think so. I mean,
Not in a bad
was
way, but
was Blade Runner like prominent
82.
in Japan?
I could see that catching on in some weird subculture kind of way in Japan.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I don't know. It's a good movie. It's one of those movies that makes you realize that ever since like the bombing, Japan has been really about like everything being destroyed, like
Hmm.
the whole destruction of like everything. So
Just
I don't know.
preoccupied with horrible apocalyptic kind of stuff. Yeah.
Like Tokyo being completely destroyed twice.
Neo Tokyo. Yeah.
Tokyo and then Neo Tokyo.
Right. Yeah. I haven't seen it in a while, but motorcycles.
That's one I wish I had on Blu-ray. Instead, I believe I have the 2001 overdub that they
Oh.
did.
Okay.
So, because it's really bad. It's worse than I remember.
Yeah, I think I saw it in Japanese. It was like the special edition or whatever.
Yeah,
But
with subtitles.
yeah, probably the 20th anniversary release. Did they do one of those in 2008?
Oh, I don't know. That well, they did the redub in English in 2002, so I don't think they would have done a 20th edition without a dub.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been a while, but
It really doesn't matter. What was your next one?
Hall Pass.
Okay, I was almost going to go see this with a friend yesterday, but I really didn't want to.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. Like I kind of had a okay time with most of it. Like Jason Sudeikis and Owen Wilson are pretty funny for the first little while, but at some point the movie like I don't know, plot summary or whatever, like two dudes are just got a lot of pent up sexual energy and their wives notice it and are getting kind of annoyed constantly at them, so they're like, all right, here, we're gonna go on vacation for a week, you can just do whatever you want, get it out of your system, and that's fine, like it won't ruin our marriage, whatever, you don't need to tell us, like just go and spread those wild oats or whatever.
Yeah,
We're
that's the
out.
worst idea ever for an actual relationship, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. But the whole message of the movie, which gets way too heavy-handed, in the last bit, like it's unfair to actually no, it's a useless comparison, but it almost has some similar preoccupations to like Little Children in a way, which is weird to say, but in a dumb, goofy, over the top, gross out comedy way. So it's a bad comparison, but whatever. Um, they basically fail at doing that at all because they're oafish middle aged dudes, and
Yep.
whereas their wives are apparently still pretty happening. So they meet up with this sexy baseball team, and things happen. So
Okay.
the tables have turned or whatever and whatever. But then at some point there's also just fairly style business where like this kind of short um, DJ dude freaks out and starts chasing them around with like a crowbar and a gun, and just weird dumb stuff happens. Um, so yeah, it kind of goes silly for a bit too long there at the end. Oh, and early in the movie, like they kind of are rolling around with this big crew of friends, like including Steve Merchant and that funny dude from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Oh, what's his name? The
Which one?
the guy that like in season 5 or whatever who ends up living at Larry David's house. He was in Date Night briefly too. Just a second. Actually, wait. I'll probably just look up Hall Pass, and then I'll know. But anyway,
Yeah.
basically that whole crew of people end up leaving the movie like half an hour in. They're just like, "All right, you guys suck. We're out. We're just gonna go," and then they kind of just disappear.
And they never come back.
They don't come back for like a long time, for like
That's
40
pretty
minutes or
awesome.
something, which is weird. So that whole funny element just kind of stops happening. Um, Man, what's this dude's name?
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know.
JB Smoove.
It seems like the worst idea for a movie because, let's be honest, if this ever were to happen in real life, the dude gets the short end of the stick there because guys do not have a easy time when it like compared to women to find just like random sexual encounters and stuff.
You're
Like,
right,
so
I guess, yeah.
it's the
So,
stupidest idea ever.
but that's where the comedy comes from, because you get to see them make horrible passes at ladies and then get shut down. Haha.
But that's not what I want to see,
Oh, okay.
which is why I didn't want to see this movie.
All right, yeah. So that does happen a lot. I do like the main guys though. I guess like Owen Wilson kind of reminded me like, oh yeah, you can be likable, and Jason Sudeikis is a funny person, so that was kind of great.
Yeah, he is.
But overall, as a movie, yeah, no, it wasn't that great. But I
It
don't really.
looks like a pass.
Yeah, you don't. Oh, all right. What did you see?
um, the next one was Dodgeball, a true underdog story.
Ah, yes.
I watched it with commentary. It's the worst commentary, and it makes me hate Vince Vaughn.
What? Who's all on the commentary?
Vince Vaughn,
Is Ben Stiller?
Ben Stiller, but Ben Stiller doesn't come in for a little bit at the beginning, and it's Vince Vaughn being a jackass while eating chips in the mic.
Great.
Yeah, so like I was not impressed,
I
and then
did.
I fell asleep during half of it.
Okay. I'm not a big Vince Vaughn guy, I guess. Like he's been entertaining periodically, but I don't seek out anything he does really, so yeah. I
Yeah,
have seen Dodgeball though.
I
But
think the best thing he's probably done was with Owen Wilson and the Wedding Crashers.
yeah, for like a vehicle for him, that was okay.
Yeah,
But I didn't see that Four Christmases or The Dilemma, all that stuff.
yeah, the dilemma.
I remember Ben
I
Stiller was
don't
kind of
care about it.
funny. And Alan Tudyk's in it, right? As like a pirate.
Yeah, he's pretty funny in it. Steve the Pirate.
Yeah. So
And it was the first movie that what's his name that became kind of big into that style of movie. I'm just trying to remember his real name.
Justin Long?
No, I
Is
don't.
he in it?
Yeah, I don't like him
What, dude?
at all.
Drag me to hell. He's great.
Yeah, that's the only thing he's good in because he
No,
dies.
dude, he's in that Die Hard movie.
He's bad in that.
No, what?
Yeah.
That guy's funny, man. He's a hacker. Him and Kevin Smith. Anyway.
No, who's that other kid
Hero.
guy?
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Joel Moore.
Who's that? Oh, okay.
He's
Owen.
an Avatar. He's one of the guys.
Alright.
Yeah, I don't know. That was like his first movie though, so I don't know. It's okay.
Yeah, like I saw it for $5 like a little while ago, and I was like, I'm okay. So take that for what you will. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was
I don't
okay
know.
though. I didn't dislike it. I don't know. Not sure it's something I'd watch over and over.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Rip
That's really all you
Torn.
can. That's
Yeah.
all you can take from it.
Okay.
What's your next one?
I'm gonna postpone one of the things just so I can have just a long string that's on topic. I saw Howl with James Franco and John Hamm is also in it, and David Strathairn. It's about Allen Ginsberg, the poet from the 50s, who wrote the poem Howl,
hmm
which I've studied a bit in English and stuff, so that's kind of why I picked it up. And also John Hamm, self-explanatory. But man, most of that movie, like, or not most of it, but a good chunk of that movie is just like this weird animated version of the poem, like this animated interpretation of the poem, which I didn't find that compelling.
So is it him writing the poem then?
No, it's kind of like a dramatic reading by James Franco. Like the movie kind of jumps around in time a little bit. Like it'll jump between Ginsberg giving an interview after some success has already happened, him doing a reading of the poem for like the first time in like a club in like San Francisco or something. The court case and that's where like a lot of the more interesting stuff happens, which is kind of about obscenity and like whether or not it's an artistic endeavor and stuff, and that's where you get John Hamm, David Strathairn playing rival attorneys, kind of battling that out, and you get a couple like Mary Louise Parker and Jeff Daniels play some of the witnesses or like the expert testimonies there and stuff. Oh, and Treat Williams, which I thought was kind of okay. That dude was in Deep Rising, so he's pretty
Yes, he
awesome.
was.
But yeah, then there's this whole other chunk of the movie that's just like, it's like an 85-minute movie, and I guess like maybe half an hour of it is just this animated interpretation of the poem, which just kind of has no energy at all and seems weirdly inserted into the thing. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
So, is this something that, like, I would be interested in, do you think?
If you have no like inherent interest in the poem at all, like don't bother seeing it at all. Um, that might be a little unfair. Maybe the poem will capture your imagination and you'll be inspired and stuff. That's clearly what the filmmakers felt was going to be the reaction, but I don't know. It just didn't do much for me at all. John Hamm's fine. David Strathairn is fine. James Franco's okay, but most of it's him reading off camera. So
Oh, it's off camera.
yeah, no, it's just animation. Like it's like kind of low grade, like not bad looking, but just kind of obviously not top tier animation stuff of
But how much of it is animation? Not like the whole thing.
like 40% or something. So thirty
Oh,
percent
wow.
maybe, like a good chunk. So yeah, that stuff really kind of robs the courtroom story of a lot of its momentum, and yeah, I don't know. It's not that great, which is too bad. It was one of the ones I saw pop up on like festival lists and stuff last year and was kind of interested in, but it didn't really do much for me. So
So this is out to rent, right?
yeah, and like I said, 85 minutes, but it kind of drags, which shouldn't happen. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um. All right. We're gonna take a small break. More movie talk right after this. All right. Hey, this is Nathan. We don't actually have break music or anything, but I said after this, so this is that. Just a little disclaimer. Coming up is a really lame joke. At Tom Hooper's expense that I'm not gonna edit it out or anything. I'm gonna man up and just post it and just deal with whatever happens. But I just want to say I know it's stupid, and I just got caught up in the moment or whatever and stuff. I'm sure he's fine or whatever, but I was a little angry. But anyway, see if you can point out the exact phrase I regret saying in the comments or email or something, and you'll. We don't have any prizes to give out, but maybe a special mention or something, and we'll acknowledge you were correct. Anyway, back to the show. All right, welcome back.
Well,
More movies and shows to be discussed. I don't remember whose turn it was, but Paul.
it was mine. So, like I said earlier, Netflix has updated and they have a whole bunch of new stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I watched The Wrestler last night because I
And
hadn't seen it. That movie is
AKA
really good.
Black Swan 1.
What?
I don't know. Black Swan the first with wrestling.
Black Swan the first. Yeah, pretty much. That movie is really good but I mean, I don't know, because it gets really uplifting and then really kind of depressing.
Yeah, the ending is kind of a bit of a downer, but he succeeds, kind of,
But
right?
see, I don't even mind the ending because as far as I'm concerned, he's doing what he loves.
Yeah,
So
kind
like
of
he
similar
won.
endings between the two movies. Spoilers, but
Because like I think it would have been more depressing to see him just
yeah,
wither away. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a really good movie. I probably should have seen it in theaters when it came out, but oh well.
Did you like Rourke in it a bit, or how do you feel he did? Because he did not win Best Actor, which I felt was a little, you know.
Who else was up?
Ed, Sean Penn ended up winning for Milk, which I didn't mind that movie, but I don't know, it didn't really stand out as anything special.
I think
Um,
Rourke did a fantastic job.
yeah, I, like perfect role for the perfect, kind of level of downbeatness or whatever.
And I mean, really, he looks like an old wrestler.
Yeah, kind of. A friend of mine can't get past being bummed out that Nick Cage was apparently up for that role for quite a while, and he wants to see Nick Cage tackle a like good dramatic role again to kind of get back in the critics' good books, which I cannot deny that would be great. But I don't know, like no sense getting upset about could-haves or whatever. It didn't happen, so
I don't know if I could really see him doing the wrestler, personally.
it it would not be the same at all. Like
No, it
it
definitely
would have
wouldn't
a
be.
very different kind of tone to it. I don't know. It I'm fine with the movie the way it is right now. So yeah, I don't know if that's something to really be upset about. Although at the same time, like I kind of wouldn't mind seeing Nick Cage in pretty much anything. So that'd be cool. Quality director and stuff. But whatever.
He would have to
He'll
bulk up a lot.
Yeah, but he's like a strong dude. If you've seen Ghost Rider, like there's a couple scenes where it's just like, man, this dude's in shape. But yeah, I don't know. It's not worth dwelling on. But yeah, no, good movie. Aronofsky. At one point, isn't he serving a lady like potato salad or something? She keeps sending him back.
Yeah, it's like a
So
little bit more, a little less, a little more. That's actually the part where he has his freak out,
yeah, you just
which
yeah
was awesome.
yeah.
I
I should watch
mean,
that again.
like, if you ever wanted to see in a movie someone punch a moving meat slicer, see this movie.
Okay, I don't remember what happens exactly.
He's
I haven't seen
slicing
it in a
meat and
while.
then he punches it and he cuts himself and it flips out and like rubs blood all over his face and starts yelling at people.
Does he get like a workers' comp or anything, or?
No, because he quits, he walks out and like destroys the place as he's walking out.
Oh, okay.
How do you not remember this? It was like one of the
I,
high points of the movie.
I don't remember. I was his boss looking at porn at one point though.
Yeah, it
And
was
he walks in on
roughly
him,
around that part.
and then he's like, "Leave again. All right, come back in." That kind of thing.
Yeah, and then he
Which
just like slams the door on him.
just his boss was such a tool. It was great.
Totally.
Um, yeah, and there's a Vampire Weekend poster in that movie. I remember that.
Really? Where?
It's in his daughter's like room. So
Oh, okay.
I don't know why that stuck out. Maybe because I was like reading up on the band and I hadn't listened to them yet. I don't really like them, by the way. They're not my kind of thing.
That is totally
But
fair.
yeah, but yeah, I remember that for some reason. I'll watch it again. I have it. I bought it like a year ago. Marissa Tomei also in it. She's
Yeah,
a
and as a side note, I think that's the hottest I think I've ever seen her.
like at 40 or whatever. She finally starts looking awesome.
I think it's the hair, because she's had
Does it?
some bad hair in movies.
Like Before the Devil Knows You're Dead or something. She's
Yeah.
naked a lot in that movie too. It's weird. Like I don't know.
She has really good hair in this movie.
Okay.
That's all I
Um,
have to say about that.
okay. I'll take a look for it next time I see it. Um, I'm just gonna gloss over some things. Regular lineup of TV shows: Parks and Recreation, The Office. I watched some Tales from the Crypt, and I like those shows. They're pretty good. Tales from the Crypt is kind of a weird one because
What
some
season of
episodes are really
Tales?
bad. I'm watching season 2. I watched all of season 1. Um, I like I was initially gonna go through all of them, but I was checking IMDb, like some of the ratings. Like people are just like, "Man, this episode sucks." So I watched some of the highlight ones. One was about a haunted house, and it was actually pretty awesome. It was like this dude doing a TV show about like a supposedly real haunted house, and of course it turns out it is. And he just gets totally wasted by all these poltergeists and stuff, and it's pretty funny. Um, that show is kind of cool. HBO in the 80s and early 90s.
Have you
That
seen
was
any of the Tales from the Crypt movies?
the movies. No, but I heard they were really bad.
They're pretty terrible.
Yeah, like their show is kind of hit and miss, but every now and then they kind of land on something that's pretty awesome, like kind of like a dark Twilight Zone or something, which is kind of a cool thing, like R-rated Twilight Zone for the 80s and 90s and stuff. Some
Yeah,
big
and
guest stars too.
there's some really good stuff in there too, like really good episodes. I can't remember many of them. I remember liking season 3 a lot though.
Yeah, there's like some classic ones I keep hearing about, like Joe Pesci's in one or something that was pretty cool, and I don't know, but probably the best one of this season I've seen so far was Lance Henriksen and the guy who plays Locke's dad on Lost. Just kind of having this ridiculous high stakes poker tournament where they end up like chopping off
Oh
their
yeah,
fingers and
that's
stuff.
I don't remember the name. That's where they're doing like the Russian roulette type thing, right?
Right, right. And they're chopping off limbs and stuff. And it gets to the point where there's basically just like two torsos arguing, and it's like so silly.
Yeah.
It's
I think
pretty
that's one
funny.
of the better ones of that season.
Yeah, that's been my favorite so far. Though the haunted house one wasn't bad, and there was one about a ventriloquist played by Don Rickles, who basically
Yeah.
has this mutated horrible twin thing on his hand, so it literally is another person. That was kind of reasonably entertaining, though the other guy in the story, Bobcat Goldthwait, is kind of terrible. But
Yeah.
whatever. Good for a laugh.
Oh, by the way, that episode we were talking about is called Cutting Cards.
Okay, see the wordplay. That's how they get you.
Yeah.
And the Crypt Keeper with his terrible puns are pretty awesome.
I love it. That just screams my childhood.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna keep watching. Like I'll probably go back and watch some of the lesser episodes just for chuckles or whatever. But yeah, that show is some cool stuff.
So did you find these to buy or what?
No, they're really hard to find normally. I ended up having to download them, which I don't endorse really. But like the box set is like $250 or something. I've never seen them, so I don't even know if that's a worthwhile expense. So the internet. I mean,
Yeah, I think it probably is. I don't know. I remember liking most of them.
like if it ever goes on Netflix, I'd be happy to check them out there. But last I checked, they weren't. Um, though I haven't checked in a while, so I'm gonna check right now while you talk about something.
All right,
But don't worry,
well,
I'm listening.
okay, I wasn't worried. Um,
Okay.
I was watching Date Night last night as well.
With
I start.
JB Smoove, who I talked about earlier.
Sorry?
The guy from Hall Pass, JB Smoove, like he's the cab
Yeah,
driver.
yeah.
Yeah.
I started watching it when it came out on video back like, oh, probably was before Christmas, I guess, last year. And I fell asleep halfway through, and then I just didn't bother watching it again. But now it's on Netflix, so I was like, I'm gonna finish this off. Um, I don't know. It's okay. We established how I feel about Steve Carell, but he's somewhat subdued. I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't really mind Steve Carell. It's when he tries to be funny that I hate him. Like when he's doing his stupid little voices and stuff. Like I just can't stand him, which is why I think I would absolutely hate Despicable Me because
Yeah, there's
it's
a lot of that.
yeah. But that being said, I love Tina Fey. Like I am absolutely in love with Tina Fey. I think she's a brilliant writer. Like when it comes to the better things in Saturday Night Live when she was still part of it. I
Hmm.
really, really like 30 Rock. And I don't know, I think she has good comic timing. And I I probably shouldn't say because I know it pisses people off, but I don't find women generally funny. Women comedians.
Um.
But,
Okay. Like there's some over the years, but yeah.
but, like, really funny? Like, I don't know. Anyways, she's one of the
Gilda
few.
Radner, I'm gonna say, but she was one of the comic inspirations for Tina Fey, so it's all related.
Yeah.
Small world.
So yeah, I don't know. She's in it. I really like her. Some interesting stuff happens in it. James Franco's in it with Mila Kunis, and
Uh-huh.
one of the funnier parts in it, I guess. I don't know.
And Mark Wahlberg shows up.
Yeah, he's in there and he's shirtless the whole time.
That's kind of the Mark Wahlberg I like. That's kind of playing kind of stupid and aloof or whatever. You know,
Yeah,
it works a little
like
better.
Boogie Nights.
Yeah, and he has his
Yeah,
crazy
because he is a
supercomputer.
terrible actor, but when he's doing stuff like that, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he fits in well. So
But yeah, I don't know. It's on Netflix. I would check it out on Netflix. I probably wouldn't pay any money to see it again.
yeah, I ended up seeing it in theaters, and I had a decent time. It's a fun,
Were you on a
silly kind
date?
of romp. No,
You were
no,
doing
I
it
was
wrong.
not. I was there with like a couple dudes, so there's three of us, four of us, something like that. Just afternoon, you know. Hey, let's go see a silly movie. Went and saw that.
Oh, you didn't even see it at night. You're doing it wrong.
No, I know. Date day. Well, no, going out with the bros day after lunch.
Bro day.
Bro day. It's gonna be. That almost sounds like something. But
Yeah.
anyway, um, yeah, no, I thought it was okay, but I haven't felt compelled to really watch it again. But
Yeah.
I remember isn't there a scene where like a really old gun explodes? I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, the gun he steals from Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, that really stuck in my memory for some reason. But
It has a few really funny parts. It's pretty funny when she dresses up like a prostitute or a stripper or whatever.
right.
And they're
She's
kind of like
dancing.
dancing. I
Yeah,
found that pretty funny.
and Ray Liotta's in it, right?
Ray Liotta
Like
is
this
in it, although he's
scuzzy
only in it
crime
for like 10
kingpin.
minutes.
Yeah, it's like a 90-minute movie though. So, but yeah, there's some dudes chasing them around the city. It's silly, but it's okay. Um. Oh, okay. I watched this pretty amazing movie that I'd never heard of before this week, and yeah, it's called Peeping Tom, and it came out in like 1960. Um, it's a British kind of serial killer horror movie kind of thing, and it is like it's one of those movies that's kind of amazing because of when it came out and just how far ahead of its time it is. Because like
Hmm.
it's basically like the director was a totally well-established dude named Michael Powell, who worked with this guy Pressburger for decades, making some well-regarded films. He has like a bunch of stuff in the Criterion Collection, including this movie. But then he made this movie, and it was like way controversial. Like the BBFC in Britain or whatever was like, dude, this is horrible. You can't make this, and like cut a bunch of stuff out of it. It's almost like a guy was trying to make like Silence of the Lambs or something in 1960.
That's
Like
pretty awesome.
it throws super dark for the time, and like there's stuff cut out of it, so it's not even like the full business that they were meant to get to. But it's a pretty messed up serial killer movie. I don't, it's like there's this guy who works on like a film set during the day as his day job or whatever, and then he's also like a pornographer from time to time. And turns out he's also been horribly abused his whole life and is also a serial killer who videotapes his victims as he kills them. And it's pretty messed up. And that whole side of things is established like right away, so I didn't spoil anything. That's like the first 10 minutes of the movie. You're like, oh, this guy kills people, and there he is. So you're basically hanging out with the antagonist the whole time. And the movie is totally kind of calling into question like voyeurism and like your pleasure of watching horrible things happen in the audience while this is happening. So it kind of plays off of those fears and stuff
Kind of
too.
like
It's
Fear.net.
okay, but like really good. So
Yeah.
yeah, and like also in
I
1960s,
was
which
gonna
is I
say,
can't
like,
emphasize enough.
thinking back like 50 years ago, that would have been,
I know, like
oh
this
my
I
god.
read up on some of the stuff about this movie. Like apparently, like yeah, it came out like in its cut form and like did terribly. Critics were like, this is gross, what are you doing? And the guy's career was basically destroyed. Like he made one more film in Britain before going to Australia, and then pretty much didn't do anything past 1972 or whatever. Like he made a couple short films or whatever, and then just stopped doing anything, which is weird because he was like a pretty advanced dude for quite a while. And then apparently Martin Scorsese was way into this movie and fought to get it onto like the festival circuit or something in like the late 70s, and it kind of enjoyed some sort of revival there, and now it's on Criterion and stuff, so more people can see it. But yeah, it's crazy how just dark and like clearly like a blueprint for later horror movies and stuff. Like there's stuff that reminded me of like Halloween, like I said, like the Silence of the Lambs kind of stuff. Um, and considering Psycho came out the same year, like this is way darker and more messed up than that, which is kind of awesome.
Would you
So
say it's like the Saw of its time?
no, because Saw is terrible. So I don't want to sully the reputation of this film. The Seven of its time, maybe, maybe.
Okay, because Seven's harking back a while now too.
Well, that's like 95. Um,
Yeah, that's quite a while back.
it's not as dark as that, but I didn't like Saw, so I'm sorry if you're a big fan or something, but that movie that movie is just kind of like fun for fun's sake or whatever, like in gritty stuff. This actually has like some psychological elements to it and whatever, and the acting's kind of maybe, but the main guy is kind of funny at the same time because of it. Like he'll just say weird stuff. Like someone will be like, "You're just kind of crazy, aren't you?" And it's like, "Yes." And you're just like, "All right, I know that's creepy because he's killed like 3 people at this point, but whatever." So there's some dark humor in there too. But no, I definitely recommend everybody check it out because it was clearly a pretty influential movie. It's just kind of been forgotten
I
by
remember
the
seeing this
mainstream.
pop up on Get Glue, and
Yeah,
it was like, oh wow, he's listening to Peeping Tom, like the artist, or whatever, the
I was.
collaboration project, I should say, because it's more than one person. But then I saw, it's like, oh, he's watching it.
Yeah, it's
I
a
wonder what
movie.
that's all about.
No, it's yeah. I was quite impressed by it. Yeah. Again, like super influential, super great. Film makers love it. People should see it. And yeah, Michael Powell, that guy. I'm like there. Some of his earlier stuff, like the Pressburger stuff, is on Netflix. The Red Shoes, and one other one. So I might go back and check some of that stuff out at some point. But
Gonna
yeah,
marathon it.
I've been having weird thematic and actor related marathons going on, so I'll get into that in a bit. But what else did you see?
After date night, I watched the original True Grit yesterday. The
How is it?
It's True Grit. Like you obviously saw and loved the new one.
Hmm.
This is the same thing.
Is it as well acted and shot and stuff, or is that where
Um,
the differences
yeah,
come in
it's
there?
pretty good. It's a John Wayne movie, so like it's a lot more over the top, but like
All right.
where you can see like where the Coen brothers really have their mark on the new one because the new one's a lot darker and like there's a lot, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot more like apprehension between all the characters and they don't really get along at all for a lot of the movie.
So it's more dysfunctional.
Right, it's more dysfunctional where in this one it's more like they kind of don't care. They're all just kind of like on the same wavelength, so they're going to do it. Like prime example, remember the part where the there's the two guys from the Pepper Gang hanging out in that cabin, and they like come up on it
Start.
at night.
Oh, and they start arguing with each other and stuff.
Right.
And then there's probably the most violent scene in that movie happens.
Yeah, that happens in this too.
Oh, okay. Like it plays out much the same way.
It plays out the exact same way, but only all three of them are together instead of just the two of them.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, like the fingers thing, that all happens, and getting
Oh,
stabbed in the chest.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I thought they might have darkened that up a bit, but I guess not.
No, like you see the fingers fly.
Okay.
Like it's different because you know how in this one, like his hand's on the table and then he kind of chops it.
Yeah.
In this one, like he's holding his hand up and he swings at him and like
Hmm.
cuts the fingers and the fingers go flying
Oh, okay.
and then he stabs him.
Oh, okay. But much the same action happens.
Oh, totally.
That's kind of weird.
Your favorite part of the new one doesn't happen.
Bearskin.
Sorry to say. Yeah.
Yeah, that I'm actually really happy with because that's like no. See, this is the
Yeah,
Coen
this is the
brothers
Cohen
one.
version right here.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't know, they get along with LaBeef more.
Oh, okay. Does he have awesome kind of chops?
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
And it's John Wayne, so everything's like exclaimed instead of said.
Like he
Like,
shouts it or
well,
what?
you've seen John Wayne before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when he says stuff, how he's always like, I don't know, exclaiming it. He's not just talking. He's like kind of how like Gandalf is always exclaiming stuff and never just like talking.
Except for that one bit in the Moria bit where he's kind of talking to Frodo, and I really liked. But yeah. Anyway.
Well, I mean, like in the books, he's always exclaiming.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It's worth a
Is
watch.
it worth seeing as like a curiosity?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I really think so. And it's kind of weird seeing John Wayne do like a character study type western rather than just like, "Hey Pilgrim, I'm gonna kill you," sort of thing.
Hasn't he done some of that kind of stuff? Like I guess Stagecoach, he's a pretty one-dimensional character, but
He's pretty
he's part of
one-dimensional
an
in all of them
ensemble. Uh,
because he's John Wayne. He's the all-American cowboy.
I kind of liked what they did with him in A Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Like, there's a bit of a reflection kind of thing. And I saw The Shootist, which was one of his last movies, which has kind of dude realizing his day has passed and stuff kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess there's not that much. I haven't seen The Searchers though, which I've heard throws a little bit different. So
Kim Darby as Maddie Ross is
Mhm.
really good. Like, I don't know, has that look that they recreated in the new one too.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
it's really pretty good. She's a little more upbeat in the old one though. I mean, obviously because they're not all about darkness; they're about the storyline in that one. They're not about like the nihilistic point of view that the Coens are.
But it's from Rooster's perspective, right? As opposed to Maddie's in the new one. Correct?
Um, I don't know. I would argue it's more along the lines of Maddie's because, like,
Well, but I heard at one point, like in the new one, there's the bit where, oh, I guess this is getting to this. Well, when they encounter Josh Brolin's character, we
yes,
stick with her as opposed to sticking with Rooster.
right, yeah. But what was confusing is at the beginning of the old one, you actually see her like talk with her father, and like you actually see the father. You see the actual shooting happen.
Oh, it doesn't just open with the funeral kind of stuff.
No,
Okay.
like you see, they're talking like at the house, and then he's like, "I'm gonna go buy some horses or whatever." Then he leaves, and he leaves with oh, what's his name now? The guy that kills him, that they're following.
I don't remember.
Tom Chaney.
Oh.
Does that sound right?
I think that sounds right.
Yeah. Anyways, they go off together, and then like it shows them reaching the town at night and going into a saloon, and they're drinking, and then like out in the street there was an argument about his gun, and he pulls it on him and shoots him, and then runs away. So like you see that all happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was Tom Chaney. So
Okay. But
cool.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, Robert Duvall's in it
As Ned Pepper,
as Ned Pepper.
as opposed to Barry Pepper playing Ned Pepper,
That's right.
which I thought he did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
But his teeth were gross. But anyway.
But yeah, the exact same thing. If I were to choose between the two, I'd probably say see the new one. But I mean, that's because Cohen's the whole like modern modern idea of what the West was like, as opposed to the like old idea of what the West was like. It's a lot more romanticized than the old versions of stuff.
So like the town and stuff feels less authentic, or
Not. It feels more like. Have you ever seen the show Little House on the Prairie?
yeah, not often.
Yeah, it feels more like that. Like it was probably actually more authentic to like the period.
Well, I was looking at it, like it is rated G, so
and like the buildings and everything kind of have that feel to it. But like the new portrayal of how the West was like, everything's kind of like rickshawy and thrown together, and everyone's kind of gruff.
Mm-hmm.
But like
it's got more grit, is what you're saying.
True Grit, in fact.
Oh,
But anyways, yeah.
I'm
I don't know,
sorry.
but John Wayne, I mean, he's a classic. You gotta love him.
Yeah, he's a big personality from back in the day. Classic movie
Is
star.
there another John Wayne? Like, he kind of took that with him, right? Much like Clint Eastwood is gonna take being Clint Eastwood with him.
Yeah, I don't know, like a modern day equivalent. Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think there is. I think probably Clint
Yeah,
Eastwood was the closest thing, but like they were
like
kind
I
of
like Jeff Bridges a lot and stuff, but my friend was like, I mean, Jeff Bridges just isn't the same kind of larger than life personality that
no,
John Wayne was,
absolutely
and
not.
that's true. So, yeah, like there's no definitive like, oh, this has got that Jeff Bridges movie flavor, you know. But
Totally.
that can kind of be said about Mr. Wayne. So yeah. I watched The Limey again. Have you ever seen it?
I saw some of it. It seemed really good.
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit more the second time. Like the first time, I quite enjoyed it for the most part, but I got kind of lost at some point, and that's very intentional. Like watching it in light of that movie I watched a while ago, Hiroshima Mon Amour or whatever. Do you remember
Okay,
that one?
yep.
Um, that movie apparently played some like had some influences on this one, like in terms of how the movie plays with time and stuff. Soderbergh was kind of trying to mess around with that and put it into a conventional revenge movie.
Right,
So basically, the movie like bounces around from like beginning to end. Like you don't really know where you're situated in chronologically at any time, really, which is kind of neat. But at the same time, you just get some cool like Terrence Stamp talking tough and messing up dudes and stuff, and Peter Fonda being kind of awesome. I don't know. It's got some cool stuff in it. And yeah, the way it plays with time is kind of neat, and the soundtrack was actually kind of cool. Louise Guzman's in it. So I don't know, a lot of stuff to like about it. Um, but that's kind of all I got. So, well, for
right
that
on.
movie.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't know. Is that on Netflix or anything like that?
there is a version on Netflix. That's the first time I saw it, but it's full screen.
Oh, I
So
don't really care about that. I just want to see it.
okay, it is a pretty sharp movie, really. But yeah, if you don't really care, it's an okay way to see it, I guess. Um, like the dialogue and everything will still play. So yeah,
Yeah, I might
it's
check
worth
that
checking
out.
out. But yeah, what else? What do you
Yeah.
got?
Today actually, I watched 127 hours on Xbox. There, you can rent it or whatever. Um,
And
sorry, what?
what do you think?
It's really good. That is a really good movie. Um,
Will you ever see it again, though?
no, probably not.
Exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Like,
probably
I
not.
walked out of it and I was like, that was a really cool story. I hope other people see it. And then but I was fine. I don't. There's nothing really there to appreciate again.
Totally.
I don't know.
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. James Franco does really good in it. There's no way he would have won the Oscar though, because he wasn't Oscar worthy. I didn't think. But
He's way better than that Colin Firth guy, though. Jeez.
yeah, we'll
Like,
get to
dude
that.
stumbles over a few words and he gets an Oscar. Like, what?
We'll
I'm just,
we'll get to
I'm
that.
being indignant on purpose, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't, I wasn't blown away by that. But whatever.
I
Whatever.
thought it was kind of a nice touch at the end of 127 hours how they actually showed Aaron Ralston with his
Yeah,
wife.
that stuff can play cheesy. Like if you've ever seen Radio, and it's just like here's footage of the real guy. It's just like, oh man,
Yeah,
that's the
but like it
worst.
wasn't footage. It was like him sitting
Whatever.
there on the couch with like
And,
the ending credits and stuff. I don't know. I
yeah,
thought it
yeah.
was kind of touching.
Okay. All right.
That
To be
movie
fair,
is
it is
really
also just a much
triumphant.
better
Like
movie.
when the thing's going down and he's like determined,
Hmm.
but like then he gets to the part where he hits the nerve and
Yeah.
like I totally felt his pain with him. It was terrible. I
Oh
wanted it
wait,
to be
actually no,
over.
that stuff didn't do anything at all. Like I was just like, all right, whatever, fake stuff happening. But the initial bone snap was the one.
See, the bone snap didn't do anything for me. I was like, whatever. I've broken a bone. I know it hurts, whatever. But like when he was
That was like
pulling
the
on it and it
big
was just like
one,
that
yeah.
sound and it's like, oh, that would be so painful.
Oh, okay. But either way, yeah, that scene is pretty intense, and yeah, I don't know, thoroughly engaging movie, visually pretty slick. Um, Poorly marketed though. That should have done way better at the box office had that been played like better, you
Especially
know?
since
Like
the movie poster is awesome.
yeah, like it seemed like they were really lazy with how they put that movie
Approached
out
it.
there. Like it
Yeah.
was like in like a handful of indie cinemas in like October or something, and then it just disappeared for like 3 months. Like they didn't open it wide anywhere ever. And I think it really like just be like from the guy who made Slumdog Millionaire. Come on, James Franco. Like that would have made 50 million easy if you did it right.
Yeah.
But I ain't no studio executive, so whatever. But yeah, no,
Maybe you
good
should
movie.
be.
You're right. I should probably just cancel everything I've been doing and get a business degree.
It's true, you should start, like, making movies. Well, no. You should start paying for people to make movies.
Just become a producer.
No, you
That's
just
all
gotta
the
get money,
money I
yo.
have. So just take out some loans.
Give me, like, $1 million, I'll make you a movie.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll do it then. I should probably see some scripts and stuff first though.
I
But
have one written up already.
okay. Really?
Actually, yeah, but we don't
Okay.
have to get into that.
Okay. Um, but no. Okay. Any final thoughts on 107 Hours? Sorry, I kind of keep hijacking your
Yeah, that's
thunder.
definitely worth seeing. That's probably not one I. Well, I mean, you could buy it, but, like, honestly, I won't watch it again. It was good
Yeah.
while it lasted, though. So, yeah, you. Next.
Okay. Now this. Okay. How many do you have left?
One.
Let's talk about. All right. All right. All right. Here we'll just go on. This is going to take a little bit. This is the Steve Coogan portion of the show.
Yeah, I
Um.
saw that you were marathoning a whole bunch of Coogan stuff.
All right. So okay. This past week, I well, actually no, it's been some time, but I watched The Trip, which is this kind of British series where Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon kind of play versions of themselves as they go on this restaurant tour of northern England and just kind of talk about stuff and whatnot. Which sounds kind of boring the way I just said it, but it's amazing. And yeah, it basically reminded me of like Lost in Translation and how it's kind of really just this actor kind of lamenting where he is right now, Steve Coogan,
Yeah,
and then just kind of just feeling generally down and stuff. But there's no Scarlett Johansson at all. It's just kind of him being all sad and stuff. But at the same
automatic
time,
fail.
but he's a really funny guy, and him and Rob Brydon have some really hilarious conversations and do some great um, kind of impersonations and stuff and whatever. Like there's some good comedy bits in it, but overall it's more of kind of a just this weird analysis of comedians and getting typecast and stuff as a comedian and not being able to break out of that and everything.
Right.
It was kind of really I got really caught up in it and I was like, all right, this Steve Coogan cat, I've seen him in a couple things, but I now take him extremely seriously. I need to see everything he's ever done.
Yeah.
So I set about on that quest, and I kicked it off with probably the worst, but just to kind of get out of the way, Around the World in 80 Days.
Okay.
Jackie
Why would you?
Chan.
Why do you say the worst? Oh wait, what?
Just because it's cheesy and not, a serious film at all, and critics hated it, and by all accounts, it's not an especially important movie. What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking of a different movie that they remade.
Oh, which one?
I'm just trying to think of the name right now. It's the same basic premise.
Like traveling around the world in a race?
Yeah.
It's not like a rat race or anything. It's totally different.
Oh, is it?
That's what you're
Okay.
saying. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of the original movie from the 50s, which I saw quite some time ago. Is just kind of an excuse to film in a lot of exotic locations and have a lot of celebrity cameos and stuff.
Right.
This movie apparently has some cameos, but they're like people I've never heard of. Like it's just like this guy's a big Japanese UFC fighter. It's just like okay, I would never know that.
Yeah.
Maggie Q shows up, which is weird, just as like a henchman or a henchwoman, and she's disposed of quite quickly. Um,
Okay.
some like kung fu movie stars and stuff from back in the day and whatever. Like my whole like okay, thing is like I'm going into all of these with the mindset now of like Steve Coogan is amazing, underappreciated genius. Let's watch his movies. So in all of these films I'm going to talk about, I like Steve Coogan in them.
Yeah.
Whether or not I like the movie is another thing. So he was pretty great. What's weird is like he in the original Jules Verne story, he's the main character. Jackie Chan is apparently a big deal for some reason. So no, I'm just joking. I appreciate some Jackie Chan movies from back in the day, but
Yeah, but he's really gone off.
but yeah, but okay, he can't speak English very well. I'm just gonna say that, and that really doesn't help with comic timing and jokes and stuff. You know,
Unless it's Rush Hour, in which case everything's built around that.
like being unable to understand him, I guess, but at the same time, I want to punch Chris Tucker in the face
Yeah.
every time I see him now.
Do you understand
So,
the words that are coming out of my mouth?
yeah, you know the best movie he was in, Jackie Brown, because he gets shot and thrown in a trunk, and it's awesome. It's just like,
Didn't he
yeah,
get shot
Samuel
in the
Jackson, get
trunk?
that guy out of here. He's in a trunk and he just gets blasted.
Right,
It's
yeah,
over.
exactly.
It's
Yeah,
awesome.
that is pretty awesome. Shanghai Noon
Best
was
thing
okay
he's ever
too.
done. No, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're gonna say like Jackie Chan's first strike because he fights with that ladder, yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah, that was
There's
pretty
no
awesome.
disputing that. He wastes those dudes with a ladder, and you know what? It is awesome. Or like pretty much anything that happens in the Legend of Drunken Master is kind of amazing.
I never saw Drunken Master.
I think it's technically a sequel, the one that came out here in '94 or whatever. But or I think it was made in '94 and it came out here in like 2000 or something. But that movie's great. He's been in some garbage too, like Twin Dragons, terrible. But I've seen it like 4 times. I don't know.
Four times.
I was a kid. But yeah, he takes over this movie. Like he's billed as the star and everything. His character is there a lot, and the French actress they get, Cécile Francais or something. She was apparently also in Hereafter just recently.
Okay.
She can't speak English either, so her timing and comicness and stuff is also awful. So really, it's all down on Steve Coogan's shoulders to kind of make anything work, and he gets like the few chuckles out of that movie for me anyway. Um, yeah, it's just kind of messy. Oh, Jim Broadbent's okay, playing like this wildly over the top Lord Kelvin who's trying to keep Britain in the Dark Ages basically and not advance science and everything, which Phileas Fogg is not into. The story, you know, they have to travel around the world in 80 days, but that's kind of almost pushed aside in favor of like Jackie Chan's quest for the Jade Buddha and being pursued by these gang of scorpion something something or something something. Excuses for fight scenes.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about anymore.
Yeah, sorry. It's not a great movie. It's going for like a romp around the world kind of thing. But that didn't stop me from watching it twice in a row.
Why?
Turns out Steve Coogan does commentaries on like everything.
Oh.
So I needed to hear, you know, what were you doing? So I watched the commentary. Unfortunately, he's paired with the film's director, Frank Karachi or something, who is basically like the Adam Sandler B team director.
Uh.
So he's behind such wondrous films as Click.
Click was really depressing.
Yeah, but in a stupid way, like in a
Yeah.
way it didn't deserve to be. Like it's just like, hey, fun silly comedy. I don't know. We got Christopher Walken and Crazy Magic Remote. Oh right, cancer or something, and it's just like, oh okay,
Or like Dying Alone.
or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
something happens.
I forget what
Obesity,
his
I
ailment
think, right?
is. Maybe like it's just his character skipping over all the most precious moments of his life.
Right. Yeah.
He also did The Waterboy, Wedding Singer.
Wedding Singer wasn't bad.
Okay, I've heard that, but I haven't seen it. But yeah, he's that guy. And like I said earlier, bringing it back around, he's directing the upcoming Kevin James joint, Zookeeper.
Awesome.
So
I'm there.
He's that. Yeah,
Paul
he's that
Blart
guy,
Zookeeper.
pretty much. So yeah, Frank Karachi. And thing about that is like it was kind of an interesting experience hearing like an obviously not that talented director just talk really earnestly about what he was trying to do. because it's just kind of like, okay, I mean, I can't fault you. You seem like a fine person. Apparently, he put a lot of Gilliam kind of throwback stuff in there. That was kind of his mindset and whatever. Like he did get some okay cameos and stuff. Like John Cleese is in there, and I can't dispute John Cleese. That guy's pretty cool.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, just as a movie, it's not that great. But yeah, Steve Coogan again, that dude, he's there, and he tries his best. But hey, he's on the commentary. But then moving on to better stuff with him. Hold on. Oh yeah. So the director of the trip is Michael Winterbottom,
Okay.
who has also kind of been behind most of the quality Coogan stuff, including 24-Hour Party People.
Okay.
Which,
Yeah, I've been
have you
wanting to
seen
see
it?
that actually.
It's pretty awesome. I didn't really know what it was about other than Steve Coogan's in it. It's kind of about the music scene in Manchester in the late 70s through the early 90s,
Right.
centering around this one like producer slash club owner guy, Tony Wilson, who's Coogan's character. Um, like yeah, a lot of music I'm not too familiar with, other than like towards the end of it, it starts basically like being like, no, this kicked off like house music, and like the rave scene and stuff started because of this guy and
Which you're
his
all
kind of
about.
yeah. That's getting into territory I'm familiar with. Like it starts off with post punk like Joy Division stuff,
Oh, I love Joy
and
Division.
I have an album on the way, so I can finally get in on this
Which
Joy
one?
Division stuff because they only did two. I think it was their first one. What's it called? Hold on. I'm not gonna
Closer?
get. Yes, I think so.
Okay.
But anyway, that side of stuff kind of takes up the first part of the movie. And then this group I'd never heard of called the Happy Mondays.
Yeah, no idea.
Okay, they're kind of the center of the second half of it. Their stuff sounds kind of cool. I have one of their albums on my too. I'm gonna try that out. It's a weird movie because it's kind of a biopicy kind of thing, but Tony Wilson isn't really like that loud or dominating of a character because he kind of was just kind of the man in the shadows behind all these groups and stuff. So he's kind of on the sidelines commenting on stuff that's going on. And what I find kind of neat about it, which is something I think I can feel safe to say Winterbottom's kind of preoccupied with, is kind of fourth wall breaking stuff.
Oh, so he
Um,
talks to the audience a
he
lot, or what?
he almost immediately starts talking directly to the audience, but like very specifically about the movie kind of stuff. Like there's a scene where it's like late in the movie where it's just like, oh, by the way, a bunch of the people you've seen thus far were actually real people from that time. And then they just start showing you slides of like their these various like music people's appearances in the movie, and then one of them it's just like, unfortunately, his scene was cut, but hopefully it'll be on the extra scenes in the DVD. But
And is it?
yet, I don't. It doesn't matter because it's there in the movie as part of this weird commentary on the movie. So the scene is in the movie, just not as a scene. You know what I
But
mean?
is the actual scene there?
I don't think so, which is kind of great.
That's too bad.
No, but it is in the movie. That's the thing. It's in the movie
Yeah,
as
no,
this
I get
weird
it.
aside. It was hilarious. But the movie's billed as a comedy, but it's got a good chunk of drama in it too. Like it deals with Ian Curtis's suicide and stuff in a
Yeah.
pretty grisly. Well, not very respectful, but that happens, and it's of course upsetting. Um, Simon Pegg shows up briefly as like a reporter, which was weird.
Awesome.
Like it's kind of like this came out in '02 or whatever, so it's kind of before they broke big, I guess, which is hard to kind of remember.
Yeah.
Some other people show up. Do you remember the two twin brother guys in Hot Fuzz with the mustaches?
Yep.
One of them, Patty something, I forget his name. He plays a pretty big role in it too, as one of the music producer guys. But yeah, I don't know. It follows like the them discovering these various bands, opening a club, that going horribly. It's pretty great. I'm getting twisted all around talking about it, but it's a pretty great movie. I watched that with a commentary as well.
So
That was a
twice.
much yeah, I watched it twice in a row. That was a much better commentary because it's Coogan and the producer of the film. So just much more keyed into the talking about the production and stuff. And yeah, no, it was pretty awesome. Do you mind if I keep
Yeah,
the
keep
Coogan
going.
the Coogan train?
Yeah.
Yesterday I watched Tristram Shandy, A Cock and Bull Story.
Okay. I've vaguely heard of this one.
Yeah. Also a really weird movie in that it's oh man, this is gonna be a weird head trip trying to describe. Um, in any with any kind of intelligence, I mean to watch it with the commentary too to get a better understanding of like what exactly is going on. But it's based on a book which is extremely famous for being postmodern before postmodernism was a thing. So it's
Okay.
very kind of digressive. So there's a lot of just like tangents in it and self awareness and stuff. And the way they handle that in the movie, like the book's kind of been bandied about as being unfilmable. Like this is impossible to adapt to a film. And the
So
way
then, of course, he's like, I'm gonna adapt it to a film.
the way they do it is by kind of calling attention to like kind of in a way that reminded me of that Godard film I really didn't like, Tu vas bien, that calls
Right.
attention to its own artificial like nature and stuff. It
But
kind of does
obviously well done.
well, much more enjoyably done, and also like I enjoy the performers and stuff too, and yeah, so there's elements of it I like. It's definitely not antagonistically like it hates you at all at any point. It's just trying to convey this really convoluted, weird story. Um, so it starts off with Coogan and Rob Brydon again. Apparently, this movie played some role in inspiring the Trip series. So, yeah, that's kind of a weird little trivia note. But it opens with them in makeup talking about their roles and how they're going to be billed in the movie. So it's very like right up front, like yo, like the actors are not characters; they're themselves,
They're the
kind of.
actors talking about what they're doing.
Exactly. And like the first bit of it plays more kind of straight-laced and conventional in a way, like in that it's like telling the story from the book, I'm assuming. I haven't read the book, so disclaimer. But so, uh Coogan's on screen in character as Tristram narrating the story, and then a lot of it apparently the book is famous for the main character, like the story ending with the main character not having been born yet.
Okay.
So a lot of it's about his pregnant mother, and Coogan plays his father. But then pretty quickly, like half an hour in, it kind of like, all right, cut. That's good for the day, and then it's like them off, like on location, but not shooting, talking about making the movie.
So
It's
it's
really
like
good
a
stuff.
movie about them making a movie about
Yeah,
this
like
book.
it kind of reminded me of like some elements of like adaptation, like the Godard film I was talking about. Apparently, it's also really inspired by Fellini's Eight and a Half, which I haven't seen,
Yeah, me neither.
which is about a director struggling to make a movie. I guess you could say like this is about actors struggling to make a movie,
Okay.
but yeah, but at the same time, like kind of in a way, it kind of reminded me of Black Swan and how that is about making Swan Lake, but it kind of is Swan Lake.
Right, yeah.
It does some stuff kind of like that, where like this is about the novel Tristram Shandy, but then apparently a lot of like elements from that story are in
Start
the
happening.
actors' stories. So like there's a whole thing about like there's a scene they're talking about cutting where Tristram Shandy is holding his infant child, and then later you get a scene of Steve Coogan holding his child. So
Okay, I'm following you here.
yeah, so there's totally logic behind it. A lot of it was way over my head, but very very interesting stuff. The method of it kind of reminded me of a Robert Altman kind of thing, maybe like a lot of people walking around, a lot of side conversations happening, like kind of remind me of The Player or something. just evoked a lot of stuff, and overall it was pretty interesting. Um, and there's some good laughs in it too. Like at one point, there's one scene where Steve Coogan's talking about having to play a scene where the character gets a hot roasted chestnut in his pants and is like
Okay.
flipping out. But we don't actually see that happen in context of the character. We see him preparing for it. And at some point they're saying like, "Hey, let's just do it for real." And then he flips out in a way that is so real. I don't know if they actually just did it or if he's just like amazing, cuz he looked like he was in genuine pain, and it was really weird. Like it was almost like jackass kind of stuff, but I don't know. I don't know if it was real or the best acting I've ever seen, but either way, it was pretty amazing. So there's some laughs throughout, and it's not that long, but very British, like very like some weird kind of dark humor, like the stuff they talk about within the book's storyline. A lot of it is about birthing and stuff, and like him being born, and they bring a doctor in with like this brand new invention, forceps, and they're totally safe. It's awesome. Here, you, sir, make a baby's head with your hands, and then like they practice on it, and he immediately like cuts open his hand, and it's horrible. So, and then they're like, all right, no, it's totally different because like a real baby's head is like soft and stuff, so it wouldn't happen like that. Like a better uh, approximation would be a melon. And then someone's like, well, I happen to have this cantaloupe right here. And then they try it on that, immediately crushes the cantaloupe. And it's horrifying because like they're talking about a baby's head. So if that's kind of stuff, like that kind of weird, dark, gross, Britishy kind of stuff, it's pretty funny, but
That's
in a
pretty
weird way.
awesome.
So yeah, I definitely recommend it as well, but it's a weird movie. I'm gonna
It's one that's not
hopefully
going to be
get
for
more of it.
everybody.
Totally not. Like IMDb, it's at like 6.9 or something. Like a lot of people obviously were like, I don't know, fun movies. And it's weird, but good stuff. Steve Coogan's great. I will keep watching more of his films. I'm gonna end that train now. That's the Steve Coogan segment of the show. But yeah, I could go on,
Probably
but I
back
won't.
next week.
Probably, yeah.
Until
And
you're done all the movies anyway.
yeah, what else is there really? Like, there's Marie Antoinette, which I want to watch because he has a bit role in it. I've never seen it. Um, but yeah, some of the stuff is hard to find. Like, there's a movie called The Parole Officer that I just haven't been able to track down. Um, but anyway, I will pass the torch to you. Sorry for going on so long.
Okay,
But
the last movie I actually watched right before we started recording today,
okay.
which feels like hours ago now, but a movie called Monsters that came out last year.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to see that.
Yeah, I don't know, like, it's pretty good. I liked it a lot. I could see why I heard a lot of bad things about it from other people.
Really?
I can kind of see why they might say that, but I mean, I liked it quite a bit.
Okay, I've only heard like people remarking at like, wow, this movie looks amazing for $20,000 or whatever.
Yeah, it's really well done for that amount of money. Like the aliens in it. It I like that they go for the whole like what you don't see is scarier type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when you do see them, it's just kind of like, "Whoa, what the hell?" So, I don't know, it's pretty good. It's basically a movie about these two people trying to make it through an infected zone that has been deemed infected rather by the government of Mexico because like aliens are like in there and stuff. So they're trying to make it through to the States. And that's really the whole movie. Like when they make it to the States, it's kind of like done. But
Okay.
it's all about the journey sort of thing. Um yeah, I don't know. The acting's okay in it, I guess. I don't know either of the actors in it.
Well, it's like a really low budget production, so it's
Yeah, so
probably
they're
some friends of the director or something.
right. The scenery and stuff is pretty cool. I think I don't know, more than anything, I like alien type movies and movies like this. It's basically Cloverfield without all the bad stuff that was Cloverfield.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'd recommend it. It's online that you could rent, or you could rent it in stores or buy it or whatever. But I remember I wanted to see this. This, along with Black Swan and a whole bunch of other movies, were actually released a lot later here than they were, like, in other places. And it was kind of frustrating because you would watch trailers for all these movies, and it's like, man, I want to see that. But no, not in our city. So I finally got around to seeing it today. And yeah, it's pretty good, I guess. I don't have a whole lot to say about it because it's one of those things that, since it really is more about the journey than anything, you can spoil some stuff that's kind of neat.
Is it handheld though, like the whole
No,
movie, or?
no, no. It's I don't know, like a standard movie. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I'll probably check it out sometime soon. It's getting up to that 4 week mark, so I can finally see it.
Oh, you
yeah.
have to wait 4 weeks?
Yeah. So.
That kind of sucks.
It's okay. It's just so we're
I
not
guess you
taking
have
it like the hottest business, and we can get it before, but I was just tired, so yeah.
So you can't.
I couldn't. Yeah, I didn't have that opportunity.
Yeah, because that just came out on video this last week, right?
No, it was a couple weeks ago.
Was
it?
it?
Was February 8th or something. So we're
Oh,
getting
wow.
up to 1 month. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you should check it out. I think you'd like it.
Okay.
Maybe. I
I
guess.
fully intend to. A friend of mine did an interview with the director and stuff, and he seems like a pretty down to earth guy. Gareth Edwards. So yeah.
Has he made anything else?
No, this is kind of his debut, I guess you would say. So he's definitely turned some heads, considering he made a movie for such a low amount of money that looked pretty sharp and made its budget back easily. So yeah.
Yeah, like releasing it at all at $20,000. It's pretty hard not to make that back.
Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting industry experiment, I guess, at any rate. So, and sci-fi, I like those, so I'll check them.
Yeah, sci-fi is good.
I also like animated films with chameleons in them.
Really?
As it turns out, yeah. Kind of an underrepresented subgenre, but broke out big this week with
Yeah,
Rango.
I wanted to see that, but nobody wants to see anything with me. That's good.
You gotta get better friends or something, because this is an amazing movie. It's
Yeah,
really
because
good.
everyone's all up for Hall Pass, but I say something like Rango, and it's like, no, I don't want to watch a cartoon.
Dude, it's like barely for kids at all. That's the thing. Like it totally hits that Nickelodeon flavor of being like too
On the line.
crazy. Yeah, it's like for the Invader Zim audience, whoever that is, and adults. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's tons of weird movie references. Like the main antagonist is basically John Huston's character from Chinatown.
Awesome.
Like exactly, like it's almost dealing with the same kind of stuff, like water. In There's a lot of water talk. Um, yeah, I don't. There's like a Clint Eastwood reference. There's a very clear Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas reference.
Made by
Weird.
Depp.
Yeah, well, yeah, like Depp basically runs into that character briefly. It's hard to describe, but it's awesome
Into
when
what
you see it.
character? Like
Uh,
Thompson or what?
does he play Hunter S. Thompson? Is that who he's playing?
Well, yeah, pretty
Okay,
much.
I've never seen it. It's one of the Gilliam movies I've never seen. But just the few iconic imagery, like it's basically the cover box stuff happens
Oh,
in
okay.
Rango. It's weird. He plays a really eccentric chameleon who is man, I don't even want to divulge too much what happens. Basically, Old West stuff happens, and it's just a fun, crazy adventure that looks amazing because it's the Industrial Light and Magic people doing the animation,
Yeah.
and those dudes know what they're doing, and it's just a visual like feast the entire time. They got Roger Deakins, like my favorite cinematographer, to do visual consulting stuff on it too, so that helps in making it look awesome too. Really funny, really like kind of like what I mean by like the darker stuff. Like I mean characters say hell and damn a lot for a cartoon.
Well, it's a
So
western, right?
yeah.
So I mean, it
Um,
fits.
and Bill Nighy plays a snake with a chain gun on his tail. So how awesome is that? Completely
Bill
is the
Nye,
answer. Yeah.
the science guy.
No, Nighy,
Yeah, I
the
know.
British guy. Oh, okay. Okay. Just to be. I don't know what happened to Bill Nye, but he's gone.
He's gone.
Ray Winstone, he's disappeared. I have no idea where he
It's like, I
is.
don't know what happened to him,
He's not
but
on my
he's
radar
gone.
anymore. He doesn't matter. But Rango does. I don't know. I'm just kind of people should see Rango. Go see it. It did pretty well at the box office, but it could do better. It kind of proves the thing like nothing needs to be in 3D to look awesome. Like I was so happy that they made this movie and were like, no, it's just in 2D because we want it to look sharp and awesome, and it does. So yeah, it's in 2D. It looks great. It's pretty darn funny. Like the story is a pretty just kind of like high adventure kind of thing. Like dude who kind of self doubts and stuff learns to be a hero, that kind of thing. But it's got a fun eccentric protagonist and stuff, and a lot of fun stuff happens. So people should see it.
From what I've seen from the trailers, it seems like the classic whole, like, guy needs to stop a whole posse of people in the Wild West.
Yeah, and it kind of starts off with him like what it kind of reminded me of like the Bugs Life storyline where he's isn't he regarded as a hero for defeating a
Yes,
bird?
for defeating a wasp, isn't it?
Was it a wasp or a bird?
I can't remember, because the wasps were, like, bugging them, right? Or whatever.
Well, they're not wasps, they're grasshoppers is
Oh, right, grasshopper.
their antagonist in that. For
Maybe
some
it was
reason
a bird, though.
I think it was like for some reason Flick becomes a hero basically accidentally.
And
That's
same thing
basically
happens here, right?
that sort of happens here where he's thrust into this position of like being a hero and being like
Well, I
having
mean,
this
you can
ridiculous
talk about that.
reputation.
That is the trailer.
Yeah. But then of course, he has to step up to the plate and actually become a hero when bad stuff starts going down. And maybe he does. I don't know. You'll have to see the movie to find out.
Yeah, I kind of don't want you to say anything more about it, because I really want to see this movie.
Right, okay. I won't. Other than it's like a visual feast and Johnny Depp's great. The whole cast is great. Like Isla Fisher's in it. She's pretty awesome. And Abigail Breslin. But yeah, character design and everything is great too. Just it's really good.
So, did this get beaten out by the Adjustment Bureau?
No, it didn't. But I did see that. Thanks for that. That Rango made like 40 million or 38.6 or something, and Adjustment Bureau made 21 or so.
How is the Adjustment Bureau? That's one I'm on the fence about.
Ah, hmm. I don't know. I'm
Sounds
trying
like
to.
you are too, and you've seen it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's pretty good. It kind of depends on how much you like and care about Emily Blunt and Matt Damon and want to see them together. Because
Well, that's the whole story, right?
pretty much, yeah. Like it's like they meet. They do like to be fair, they have really great chemistry together. Like every time they're together, it's like really funny and just enjoyable. Um, I I don't know. Maybe I'm just not that in. I just don't get invested in characters that easily or something. But it didn't really pull me in the same way as it did for Ryan, a friend of mine who absolutely loved it. But no fault of the actors or anything. I'm just a cynical, horrible person, so I didn't really take too
Well,
much.
I mean, that's probably only because you can't physically feel love.
I know. So that really would impact negatively this movie's storyline because it's basically the entire movie is basically like, hey, these people meet, but this weird group of shadowy dudes doesn't want to let that happen. So the whole movie is basically trying to split up these two characters when they desperately want to be together. And presumably you as an audience member desperately want them to be together because they're so darn cute and awesome. And yeah,
That came off as a little bitter.
yeah. Whereas I was just kind of like, whatever, all right. Oh, good, Terrence Stamp is here, like that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
John Slattery, character actor dude, who's Roger Sterling in Mad Men. He's one of the head Adjustment Bureau people. Richardson. The core conceit of the movie is kind of amusing. Like it's basically like every time something goes a little bit wrong, like, wait, where did I put my keys? Or, oh no, my cell phone doesn't have a signal. That's because of the Adjustment Bureau. They're controlling your life and you don't even know it.
Only now we do, so
You're
they're
right.
failing.
I know, but they have the ability to erase your brain if you should go blabbing about their existence. So
Oh,
that's why we
really?
have crazy people in asylums. It's like a pretty, I guess, kind of interesting big picture sci-fi like premise, but like all of it is only really there to service this love story thing, and none of it is really explored in any depth at all. So it's just kind of like that is happening. That is how this universe works. If you wear this hat, when you open a door, you're in some weird random place, and it's like okay, I guess that's kind of cool, but oh well, like kind of silly at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, but they treat it with conviction, and there's some okay scenes involving that kind of stuff, which is okay. It's all right. Again, like, do you want to see a romantic thriller?
No, I'd rather see Rango.
Okay, we'll go see Rango then. Um, but if you do want to see a romantic thriller, Adjustment Bureau has your back.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure I do, but I'm sure I know quite a few people that want to see it because they don't know anything about it and it looks neat.
Yeah, it's kind of neat, but and I like Matt Damon a fair amount, and Emily Blunt is fine, and John Slattery and Terrence Stamp are there, so hurrah. But yeah, I don't know, something about it. Like I walked out, it was kind of flat, in my opinion. The music was done by the Road to Perdition guy, Thomas Newman, and I could kind of hear that because it kind of reminded me of it. But it's a generally good score, if not a bit derivative. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't have much else. They wear hats, and there you go.
Was
Sorry.
that? Yeah, was that the last one?
Nope. I
Wow.
yesterday I watched a documentary called "Rip: A Remix Manifesto,"
Nice.
which I only watched because I like Girl Talk quite a bit.
Girl
That
Talk
guy,
is pretty awesome.
yeah, that new album All Day, so good.
Haven't
Can't
heard
stop,
it.
can't stop listening to it. It's free. He's giving it away for free on the internet. It's
Oh,
awesome.
the internet? I
The
have the
internet.
internet.
I know this movie kind of talks about the internet too. Free exchange of ideas, man. It's the future. Um, movie's okay. It's kind of also just a big kind of fan letter or something to Girl Talk, maybe. Some people have
Okay.
perceived it that way. Like the filmmaker is clearly a really big fan, and sometimes that may make things seem a little less subjective than they ought to be for a documentary. But a lot of the points it makes are pretty fair. Like copyright stuff is ridiculous. How seriously big companies take that kind of thing, and the lengths they'll
Yeah.
go to stomp that stuff out. And he gets a lot of the important interviews you'd want someone researching this topic to do, like some people who have been sued by big like corporate entities and stuff because of music piracy, including like kind of a lower class housewife lady who put like downloaded like 24 songs and decided not to settle out of court and took them to court and then just got destroyed, like 200 and something $1,000 worth of fines and
That's
stuff.
ridiculous.
Yeah, like $9,400 per song or something. And they point out like all the songs are kind of like just big mainstream pop hits that are like on the radio all the time and just kind of like do whatever. You could buy those on a compilation dance mix at Walmart for like $9. Why are you getting so bent out of shape?
Or you could just turn on the radio.
Or you just download on your computer because it's 2010 or 11. It's 2011 now. It was 2008 when this was made.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of pointing out just how backwards a lot of the legislation is and how out of touch with the times and stuff. All of it is.
Can I confess something?
Okay.
I've pirated a song or two in my life.
Yeah, I wait. I did too, but you know what? I couldn't even find the album anywhere. It was the Waves by the Nightclub. You know, what
Like,
was I supposed to do?
I don't feel great about it, but at the same time, when I like one song and an album is like $20 and has like 20 of them, I kind of just want that one song.
Well, you can buy that one song on iTunes sometimes.
Well, not before iTunes was
Sometimes.
big. I'm talking
The thing
about like
is, though,
the
is, like,
Napster days. Do you remember Napster?
Uh, Yes, but only vicariously through a friend of mine who had it. And my
Oh, okay.
mind was blown. I was like, "What? You can get like any song?" It was amazing.
Days of dial-up, man. Someone
Yeah,
like had to answer the phone or something. You were screwed.
yeah, that was.
Metallica's Enter Sandman went bye-bye.
Yeah, there's some of the interview footage with Lars Ulrich just freaking out and stuff. So that.
He's a total douche.
Yeah, kind of. I've never seen him talk and stuff, but yeah, that guy's an old man. You know,
Not to say it
old
to like be
ideas.
rude, but he talks exactly like a stereotypical American.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, he just has an arrogance in his voice. Like every stereotype you would think American people have, he is.
Okay. I'm just
Yeah,
thinking of
he
cheeseburgers now
bothers
for
me.
some reason. Okay. Yeah, so he's in there. There's a lot of stuff just like with Girl Talk and the weird kind of how much it would cost to license a Girl Talk song is like $4 million or something because of like all the labels and like the companies above the like license holders and all of this nonsense. So yeah, but I don't know. Some good points are made. He also goes to Brazil and talks to like their cultural minister there. And yo, they have DJ classes there, which is awesome. There's like this
That
10-year-old
is
year old
pretty
kid
wicked.
just like turntabling it up, and you're just like, this is great. This is awesome. South
Is he
America.
good?
He's doing all right. Like him and he's got his like three people there that are rapping and stuff. They're doing okay. It was pretty amazing. This little kid, he's gonna grow up to be somebody. I don't know. But yeah, pretty cool little documentary. Co-funded by the National Film Board of Canada, which I was kind of happy to see. You know,
Yeah.
like good job, Canada, way to
Represent.
stand up and make these weird anti-establishment movies. So cool. And that was last. Well, I watched Tristram Shandy after that, but I had to keep that contextual. So that's it for movies I've seen this week. These last couple weeks. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's
We've been
quite a
talking.
few.
So we're gonna talk about the two news stories that matter, and then we're gonna let you enjoy the rest of your day. So the Oscars happened a while ago.
Yeah, they
What
yeah, they happened.
what did you think?
Um, well, as people know, I don't have TV. I don't have cable, rather. I just do everything through the internet, so I was following the live stream of it. And I wasn't following the live stream for a while, and then I went on to Twitter, and a dear friend of mine started cursing out about something on it.
What are you talking about?
Well, you
Yeah, I
started
know. I
cursing.
self-censored my cursing though, because I felt
Yeah.
weird. But the last word is even worse than what many people might think. But anyway, it starts with the letter C.
Yeah.
I was pretty upset at one of the decisions made during the
Anyways,
Oscars.
I thought, like, you have seen most of these.
I've seen all of the Best Picture ones
All the
anyway.
best pictures, I mean, in general, most of these.
Yeah.
I thought I would go through them quickly and you would just say, like, what you thought.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I don't have a lot to say about a lot of these.
Okay.
So, actor in a leading role went to Colin Firth in The King's Speech.
Wasn't happy about that, but mainly because it was just kind of a low key role. So
Who would
maybe
you have chosen?
I actually quite like James Franco, but probably Eisenberg, despite what his kind of lower key character. I just found him quite compelling in that. So that's where I would have gone.
That's fair. Actor in a
Like
supporting role went to Christian Bale in The Fighter.
I thought that was fair. He was really good.
Well, but people were mumbling about Jeffrey Rush in The King's Speech. What do you think about that?
He was the best part of that movie, but I was absolutely fine with
So you
Christian
would
Bale
have been
getting
okay
that.
with that decision too?
Yeah, absolutely. Christian Bale was my top pick as well, so yeah.
Okay. Actress in a leading role went to Natalie Portman.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They made the right decision.
hands down, I think that was probably her best performance. I
Yeah.
really like her in that movie. It would have been stealing it away if she didn't get it.
Yeah, there was the only person anyone was giving serious credence to was Annette Bening because she's been in the business for a while, but like having seen that movie now, like
She should
that would have
have
been
won.
a real mistake. That if you didn't do the performance this year, you shouldn't get an Oscar. Like I don't care what you've done years past. shouldn't play a
I
factor.
completely agree, but we both know they don't think that way.
Yeah, but
Um, n-
unfortunately, cooler heads prevailed, and
no one
yeah.
was saying anything about Nicole Kidman,
No, I know. She seemed like kind of the obligatory, like, we need five ladies. She
and
cries
people
a
will
lot in this
recognize this name.
movie. Yeah, so, like, I haven't seen, what is it? Rabbit something?
Rabbit Hole.
Rabbit Hole? Yeah, I haven't seen it. It looks miserable. It's just like two parents crying a lot because their 4-year-old died or something. So it's like, that sounds awful. I don't want to see that. That's just
Yeah, I'll
depressing
have to
for
agree
no
with you on
reason.
that.
I can't relate to that situation, and I never want to. So,
Yeah.
bleh. But hey, maybe it's great. I don't know.
Actress in a supporting role went to Melissa Leo in The Fighter.
I was okay with that, but I really liked Haley Steinfeld as
Yeah,
Margaret.
I agree with you. I would have gone for that. I hadn't seen any of the other ones, but I mean, she was really good.
Like Mrs. Leo was fine, but it was seemed kind of just like the evil stepmother kind of caricature kind of
Would you
thing.
have
Like I'm
preferred
loud
Amy
and
Adams then?
obnoxious. I like Amy Adams a lot. She yeah, as like a realistic second choice, or are you just saying for the fighter?
Well, for The Fighter, but I mean as a realistic second choice.
May yeah, maybe. I don't know. She kind of talks tough and stuff. And I just I can't think straight about Amy Adams because she's just so adorable. So it's
Yeah,
it's like I'm just thinking of Enchanted now, which directly negates what I just said about don't consider actors' past works when making a decision.
yeah.
So objectively speaking, probably not. But gosh, she's so awesome. So I hope she wins sometime.
I'm
But
sure she will. Best
yeah,
animated feature film obviously went to.
was well, yeah, obviously, but I liked Tangled more, which wasn't even
It
nominated.
wasn't nominated.
So they
That's still in
already made a
theaters.
mistake. Is it? That's
That's
awesome.
yeah, that's in the Country Hills one. I'm gonna go see it, I think.
That's a really, really good movie. Like a throwback to just Disney classics, like Sleeping Beauty, that kind of
And
stuff.
see, I could go for that. That or Rango.
Yeah. Yep. No, animation, it's bringing some business. It's some good stuff. Toy Story, I don't know. It was fine, but it never really hit that hard for me for some
Well, it
reason.
was Toy Story.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, here's these characters again, and that's cool, I guess.
There's some
And
good parts in that movie though.
Ned Beatty is this crazy bear, and that's all right. But and Michael Keaton was pretty funny.
And like the whole thing where they were like about to die. That
That
was
was yeah, that was the
it
best
was
part.
yeah, so
But
good.
then they try for like another emotional scene where Andy's playing with that little girl, and I was just like, this is just dumb. Oh my goodness, my eyes are gonna roll right out of my head. But I don't know,
Okay,
it worked
so
for
are
some
you
people.
with me on this? They should have died. At that part,
Yeah,
they could have ended it there.
that would be amazing, kind of, but Disney would never do that. That would just like you know what? Bet that movie wouldn't have made 1.1 billion dollars if they did that.
Yeah, because kids would have been
So
leaving crying. It would have been amazing.
yeah, just like no one would ever see that movie again. They just be like, oh, you ruined it. My childhood just got burnt. That's crazy. Like I
Yeah,
thought
our
they did
childhoods
enough
too.
to it by like making it like that moment of acceptance kind of bit. That bit was all they needed. They didn't
Where
actually need
like
to.
yeah, it was
They
over.
just all started holding hands, and they're just like, "All right, this is how it's gonna happen. At least we're together." And I was just like, "Oh man, that's awesome."
You're just like
But
biting your knuckle at that part.
yeah, but yeah, they couldn't like them going through it would have literally just felt like callous and cold. Like it would just be like, "Who took over this movie and did that? This is horrible." Like,
Especially if it showed it happening.
but it would be just like totally underplayed. It would just be like, and there's this puff of fire, and that's it. And
Woody's
then
like
cut to black,
screaming and
and
there's
it's like
like his
directed
arm
by.
flying around.
No, it's just instantaneous. They're just done, and then cut to black. The end.
That would
Credits.
be really unsettling.
Yeah, that would be awful. So no, in its current form, it is totally fun, colorful, great little movie. I get why it won, but it was definitely not my favorite animated film of last year. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Art direction went to Alice in Wonderland.
What
Um,
else was nominated? Because I think it was
Harry
like,
Potter, Inception, King's Speech, True Grit.
oh yeah, I felt like they're super minor awards really, but I felt Alice in Wonderland kind of stole some of those just because like, yo, look at how crazy and outrageous we are, and Academy voters are getting kind of old. They can't really appreciate the subtle details, so they're just like
Hmm.
big colors. I don't know, check mark.
And on
Go for
that
that
note,
one.
costume design also went to Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, which I think it was. Did it win visual effects or no? Inception did, right?
Yeah.
Please tell me. Okay, good. I was pretty happy with Inception winning what it did. Like it did some pretty solid technical stuff, so it deserved most of those. Um,
And
yeah,
speaking of Inception, it also won cinematography, which
that I would
yeah,
have
I'm
preferred
happy
going to
with that.
True Grit because I like Roger Deakins so dang much, but he's been nominated like half a dozen times. I'm sure he'll get his someday. But yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I completely agree with that one personally.
All right. It's
Um,
definitely a very visually like grand movie, but I don't know. Again, I like me some
I'm gonna skip
kind of
the
still
documentary stuff
shots.
here.
Well,
Film
X Through the
editing
Gift
went to
Shop
The
didn't
Social
win,
Network.
so that's fair. That's pretty cool, actually. I'm glad that happened.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Foreign language film went to In a Better World, which I think is the only one you haven't seen.
Well, I've seen two of them, and I didn't see that one, so yeah, I'm glad Beautiful didn't win, but I can't really say as to the qualities of that movie. So Incendies is good though, so it's still worth seeing despite not winning. It's a good movie.
Makeup went to The Wolfman.
That felt silly to me because I didn't even realize The Way Back was nominated, but watching that movie, I was like actually struck by how impressive the makeup was in terms of just making it look like these characters' faces had been horribly blistered by desert heat. It looked
Yeah.
amazing. And Wolfman was like, just like, hey, it's werewolf, and it's like I already saw this like 29 years ago in American
Yeah.
Werewolf in London, and it was really good then. So
Spoilers, it's hair with glue.
yeah, like Rick Baker, I'm sure he just has like a barrel of Oscars somewhere. They just keep giving him
A barrel
stuff.
of them.
Just why not? Just something, big sack or something.
Um,
So
original score, it's A Social Network, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
that's fair.
100% with that one.
I was really glad Hans Zimmer didn't win. So
Sorry, what?
spiteful. I'm glad Inception didn't take that one because
Bong!
I wasn't that impressed by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like people were like, "Man, Inception score is amazing." It's just like, what?
Really? Not
like
really.
he slowed down an Edith Piaf song. All right, all right, I
Yeah.
guess that
Yeah.
does for you.
Original song, We Belong Together from Toy Story 3.
Yeah,
Written by Randy Newman, so, I mean, that's probably the only thing he'll ever be doing it anymore, so.
just Disney stuff. I don't remember that song at all, so it definitely doesn't have the same catchy appeal of "You've Got a Friend in Me." That was a good song.
Definitely. Sound editing went to Inception.
Sure, there's sounds in it.
Sound mixing went to Inception.
I don't know. Nah, I have no dispute for that at all. Whatever.
I think that's the only one Salt was also nominated for.
Yeah, I thought Salt really no. That's amazing that was nominated for anything. But okay.
Yeah. Visual effects went to Inception. Adapted
Okay.
screenplay writing went to The Social Network.
Cool, cool. Oh right, and
Yeah.
original went to Old
Original
Man
went
from
to
The King's
King's
Speech.
Speech, and this is where we start getting into the fun parts with you,
Right,
anyways.
right.
So do you know who was up for Best Director?
The Coen Brothers, David O.
Okay.
Russell.
Okay.
Oh, who is the David Fincher? He's a pretty talented cat. That one. That is
Yep.
a pretty fine director right there.
Who else?
Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah, he was there too. And there's one
Yeah,
other person.
that guy's pretty talented too. That guy's pretty talented.
So far
That was them, right?
you've done 4 really talented directors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you're missing one.
Oh,
And unfortunately it's the one that won.
oh, right, yeah. Tim Hipper.
Yeah, I don't know. It's some guy that basically directed a movie about a retard who doesn't know how to do a speech.
whoa, okay, that's getting a little offensive because
I know. I'm just
like
kidding.
like I don't like the movie very much, but people with speech impediments have normal intelligence, so don't go insulting people. But I didn't really like that movie. Yeah, Tom Hooper won. He, just such bland direction. I don't know. I was so bummed out that actually won because the going into the Oscars, like I knew King's Speech was going to win Best Picture. I was just like,
You
I
were
came to
preparing
terms with
for
that.
it.
I was like, all right, that will happen because critics are like, or Academy people are super sentimental and love old timey stuff. But the one thing I thought Social Network still had a chance to win in
Was
terms of big
directing.
prizes was directing because
Yeah,
David
for
Fincher
Fincher.
is just he's been robbed a couple like well I wouldn't say he was robbed for Curious Case. He was robbed for Zodiac and not even getting nominated at all. Like that movie was just kicked aside and then Paramount was like, "Oh, sorry about that. We're going to promote your next movie." Unfortunately, it was Curious Case, which was legitimately not that great. So he didn't deserve it for that one, but I thought he did a really good job on this one and I wanted him to win.
Yeah, he
And
definitely did, but Tom Hooper stole it away.
yeah, and
And in
I
turn,
was
sorry.
just so livid I didn't even hear his speech at all. So maybe he's the nicest guy ever. I don't know. But I was just seeing red and was just like, what are you talking about? Ah. So yeah,
And of course, that means The King's Speech won Best Picture. Out
yep,
of 10 movies nominated, The King's Speech was the best of last year.
yeah, and I still don't get it. Like I keep seeing like serious movie people being like, well, I know some people keep writing it off as Oscar bait, but it's legitimately really good. And it's just like, no, it's not. It's literally Shakespeare in Love 2. Shakespeare in Love 2 came out, and you guys all fell for it again. What is wrong with you?
Yeah,
But yeah, like,
Electric Boogaloo.
oh man, you're right. Um, but I think this is one of those things where like the test of time, 20 years from now, no one will remember that movie at all, and people might very well still be talking about Black Swan, uh, True Grit, and The Social Network. So,
And Inception.
and yes, Inception.
I
I
think
I
Inception more so than the other ones, personally. Maybe The Social Network.
mm,
I think
I
people
don't
will be
know.
talking about Inception a lot more than Black Swan in a few years.
I guess so, because yeah, the public totally embraced that movie wholeheartedly. So yeah, and it by no means is it a bad film. I just haven't seen it in a little while, though my Blu-ray did arrive, and I have it sitting right over there. So someday I'll watch that again. But yeah, so that happened. Um,
Well, you called it. They
Charlie
it
Sheen,
it definitely won.
Tiger Blood, winning. It's time to
All
talk
these
about Charlie Sheen.
things are related.
All right, we're gonna briefly talk about the Charlie Sheen meltdown. In a bit of a different way. Paul, what is your favorite Charlie Sheen film?
My favorite,
Mm-hmm.
Wall Street.
Wall Street. Okay, mine personally is the underappreciated 1996 sci-fi film, The Arrival, which
Okay.
it holds up way better than I could have possibly imagined because I saw it when I was like 14 or something. Just like, man, this is crazy, aliens, woo, and forgot about it. And then watched it again like a couple months ago, and was just like, wow, this still looks pretty sharp in terms of special effects and stuff. Kind of historically is kind of funny because it is Half-Life.
Yeah.
Um, and Charlie Sheen is totally rolling around with like a goatee and some glasses, and
He
Gordon
looked
Freeman
good back
and
then.
yeah, he was doing all right.
And then he did Money
Um,
Talks.
oh, okay, yeah, I didn't
It's
see
like,
that.
why
He
did you
was
have to
on
bring that up?
Superstation all the time or something though. So yeah, I mean, Sheen was never super great, but I quite enjoyed that movie.
You know what I
And
didn't
then
enjoy, though?
okay,
Two and a Half Men. It's the stupidest television series on TV.
it's yeah, like just super generic sitcom, laugh track filled garbage, but it destroyed in the ratings all the time, which was probably the worst part. That started in 2003, and ever since I've kind of just forgotten about Charlie Sheen because he's just been
Hmm.
trapped there. But he apparently got in some big fights with the producers of that show, and that culminated to yesterday, I guess, or today, March 7th, in him fully being fired from that show. Which, all right, that means that show's over, right? Or, well, actually, hold on. There was some talk earlier this week of recasting or bringing in a new character played by John Stamos.
Which would be amazing.
So, yeah, but major cast shifts usually spell doom for a show, so the
Yeah.
only thing we can hope is that this will end in that show finally going off the air, and TV will hopefully enter a golden age of, I don't know, something
Yeah,
fun
so
and
I'm gonna go
Modern
ahead and
Family
say it that
experiences.
this whole debacle with Charlie Sheen and
Mm-hmm.
like the things he's said and the things he's said to his bosses and the whole thing with like the hookers and how he's gonna make money to like or have all this money to buy a mansion and fill it with prostitutes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think this stuff that's been happening has been the most entertaining he's been for a while.
You're not wrong. Like I didn't, yeah, like I haven't been watching any like Charlie Sheen business ever. Like he popped up in Due Date in kind of a little bit role, and I was actively kind of annoyed. But yeah, him just like all these weird interviews he's giving and stuff was much more entertaining. But at the same time, like I've reached my limit already. Like I was following him on Twitter for a bit. Just the most mindless garbage just coming out of that man's fingers, I guess. I don't know. What do you say it when someone's tweeting? And I just couldn't deal with it anymore, so I stopped.
And it's
But
really too bad because in the late 80s, early 90s, he was actually on fire. He was doing some good stuff.
yeah, like
Platoon, Wall
him and
Street,
Oliver Stone and stuff, yeah.
Major
And
League.
him showing up briefly as Bud Fox or whatever in Wall Street 2 was kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. Just that all happened. He was rightfully fired. He's still doing crazy shenanigans, I'm sure somewhere, but it's gotten to a point where I'm just sick of hearing it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So we're yeah, we should probably stop talking about Mr. Sheen's stuff. Yo, Martin Sheen, that guy was cool.
Yeah. What's he
Apocalypse
been
Now,
doing?
Mass Effect. Maybe you've heard of it.
No.
It's a video game, and he's a voice character, and he's Elusive Man. Anyway, he's in that. He's great. I don't know what he's doing beyond that. Departed was a few years ago. He was cool in that. It's Queenan. That guy was
He's
cool.
he's gonna be Ben Parker.
What? Oh, dude, that's awesome. You're right. That I think that was announced somewhat recently too, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably.
So there you go. More news for you. Secret news. Martin Sheen. Also, you know what? Emilio Estevez. Those Mighty Ducks
Yeah.
movies. That guy's alright too.
I still remember
So,
D2, The Mighty Ducks Are Back.
mm-hmm.
That was
That
one of the
that
greatest
movie's
nights of my life.
they're playing Iceland. Stuff's crazy.
It's
So
true.
yeah, Charlie Sheen, the third most talented Sheen, as it turns out.
Yeah, I'll agree.
I still haven't seen the Stakeout movies though with Emilio, so
Emilio.
yeah, that guy's Breakfast Club. Anyway, that's it really. I'm sure there was more news and stuff, but we had so many. Well, I had way too many things to talk about. I apologize. I've been inactive,
It's cool.
I guess. Watching shows.
I'm not really sure how we're gonna do this because I think we're running close to about 4 hours.
No, we're at like 2.5.
Really? What was the first part at? I thought it was like an hour and a half to like 2 hours.
Oh, we might be around 3 hours now. I think we're coming up on 3 hours. So,
Yeah.
hey, special extra long edition because of the week we weren't here. Yeah, sorry about that, I guess. But thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for staying, I guess.
We said Movie Monks, March 7th, and all that, right?
No.
Okay.
No, we didn't. But, I mean, I don't think it matters because,
Okay.
we're 3 hours in. I think
Okay.
it might be a little too late.
Well, I guess you're right. But anyway, thanks for joining us. This has been Brother Nathan, joined by Brother Paul.
And the monastery's closed.